Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck, along with meteorologist Dylan Goday here in the ABC 36 Storm Team Weather Center. Of course, it is a weather impact day. We have been tracking strong to severe storms throughout the evening, and for the first time here in the viewing area, we've had a number of tornado warnings out across western Kentucky, up into southern Indiana, and across southwestern Kentucky, just out of the viewing area. But we now have a tornado warning for Montgomery County, Bath County, and into parts of Rowan County here, and it goes until 10:30, so it's for about another 25 minutes. So if you're especially north of Owensville there, you see all the lightning, and where you see the pink here, that's where the algorithm, of course, is picking up on the potential of some rotation. So if you live in any of those areas, really, I think you're almost clear in northeastern Montgomery County, but if you're in Bath County, especially north of Owensville, running up toward Grange City, I believe it is, and right along the interstate there around the Farmer-Sharkey exit. Moorhead is not in the polygon, but this cell is headed your way. So again, if you're in those areas, you want to go to a basement. If you don't have a basement, go to an interior room, the lowest level of your home, preferably a closet or a bathroom. You want to protect yourself from the potential of any flying debris. So our SCIT data here indicating the BTI 6.5, 1 being the lowest, that's the Barron Tornado Index, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. It's about medium range here. We are looking at some hail out of this as well. So some of the areas impacted here, again, I mentioned the Farmer-Sharkey exit on Interstate 64 there at about 10:27 coming up the bottom of the hour. Plummer's Mill at about 10:29. Plummer's Landing at about 10:31, and the Smile community at about 10:34. So those are some of the areas impacted, and you literally here, just even on the reflectivity, I'll take a look at the velocity data here shortly, but using the telestrator here, you can almost see the bit of an inflow here. See if we can get it on there, right in that area right there. So it's just to the west of Owensville. So that's why if you're in Owensville, the county seat there, you need to make sure and be in your safe place as we speak. I'm going to go a little bit closer here, and then we'll take a bit of a deep dive, especially north of Owensville where you see the pink with some of the darker shading in there. That's where we're apt to have a little bit of hail. So we'll take a look again at our velocity data, see what's happening with that, and that tells us and shows us what the winds are doing relative to the radar site. The radar site is down to the south there in Jackson, so in red there over Owensville, those winds are going away from the radar site. In green, it's going toward the radar site. You get those side by side, and that gives us an idea of where the potential rotation is. And also, our algorithm can pick up the possible shear. So you see it there. It's in the moderate range, but obviously it's enough to potentially produce a tornado. So with the data off of it, I'll zoom in just a little bit more. So it looks like the possible tornado is going to pass just on the north side of Owensville there in Bath County, and then eventually run over into the northeastern part of Bath County there, the rural areas, and then skip over into Rowan County. Here's Interstate 64. That's the Farmer-Sharkey exit. There's Farmer-Sharkey's on the other side as you go left here. But where you see that little bit of a darker shading with our shear algorithm, again, that's showing the potential of some rotation there. And even on the radar signature, Dylan and I have been in here all evening long, just keeping an eye on this particular storm. This was actually the cluster that moved through the Lexington area when we had our initial batch of thunderstorms within the last hour or so. And even then, it was showing some signs of rotation. It looked like it was getting its act together, and then it would kind of lose that signature, and then it finally has it here. So just even with the reflectivity, not even looking at the velocity data, it has the structure, at least on radar, potentially dropping a tornado. If you're in Salt Lick there in Bath County, I think you're in pretty good shape. From Grange City to Owensville, in between those two locations, where you see the pink, that's where we're looking at some hail, and looking at our 1 hour hail tracker. This one has a history of producing probably some small hail, maybe a little bit larger now, that stretches all the way back to Sharpsburg. So as it has worked to the east, we've seen, again, it kind of spin up a little bit here, in addition to dropping possibly nickel, maybe even upwards of quarter-sized hail. So again, if you're in especially Bath County and Rowan County until the bottom of the hour, Owensville, it is basically just right on the north side of town. So Bath County there until 10:30, and then you've got western Rowan County. I mentioned Moorhead, you're not in the tornado warning polygon, but just a heads up, go ahead and probably be in your safe place, because this cell has been moving essentially just right up along and north of Interstate 64. So that's what we're looking at right now relative to this cell. So I'm going to broaden things out here and kind of give you a little bird's eye view. We've got obviously some other activity going on here. Lexington, we're kind of getting at least a brief break right now. You go back toward Louisville, there's some additional storms. Got severe thunderstorm warnings down here in just east of Richmond over toward Estill County. Looks like Berea in it as well. And this cell where you see the shear marker, it's just coming up on the Lake Cumberland area. This has been a long track supercell, which has had a history of possibly producing some tornadoes. They've actually extended the tornado warning to include Russell County until 10:45. That does include Jamestown, Russell Springs. That's part of Lake Cumberland. And again, this thing's been holding its own for what, Dylan, at least hour and a half?
Yeah, definitely.
Good hour and a half.
It's cycled a couple times. It's had a history of producing a tornado further west in our area.
Absolutely. Do you have anything chat-wise?
Yeah, no chat update, just that they continued that warning when they took it out of Montgomery County. No other updates there for either storm.
All right, so again, if you're in southern Kentucky, Russell Springs, especially Monticello, just with the track of this, it looks like it's going to pass probably between Somerset and Monticello. No warning out for you yet, but just given the history, and you see the spinning circle, that's the shear marker, and that tells us it gives us an indication that the algorithm is picking up on some spin within that. So the BTI is about a 5.8. We got a number of communities here impacted between now and about 10:35, as we're at 10:12 Eastern time. A few locations over into Russell County, of course, in the central time zone. So just something to keep in mind there. Now let me go. We'll trail our way back up here. Stanford.
It doesn't look quite as impressive, that storm up in Bath County. Just wanted to say it's kind of lost.
Cycling a little bit.
It's kind of cycling a little bit. The rotation's not as tight, but it's right on top of Owensville. You know, if there is something that's going to spin up, it's right on top of Owensville. All
right, so still in Bath County, Rowan County, be in your safe place. This cell, which is just north of Irvine, severe thunderstorm warning, it looks like a number of counties. Looks like parts of Wolfe County in there until 10:30. You got Powell County, obviously Estill County, maybe even back into southern Madison County, I believe, down toward Berea. No, I guess not. It looked like the polygon was there. But the skit data on that particular cell showing, again, a very low BTI, but the hail potential is there as well. About a 60% chance of seeing some large hail upwards of an inch and a quarter, which is a little bit bigger than quarter-sized hail. So some of the areas impacted: Powell County High School, 1023, Natural Bridge at 1035, over toward Menifee County, there at Frenchburg, the high school there. Lee County, looks like you got a severe thunderstorm warning until
I just want to say, too, with the
10:30.
line of storms that's behind these cells, they just had a gust in Louisville, 82 miles per hour. And that's a line of storms that's going to be moving in a little bit later this evening. But that's kind of that, just indicating that there are some very strong wind gusts still to come after these cells moving through the area right now pass on through.
Yeah, because we've got really two different waves, and if you were watching us earlier today, we kind of played the waiting game after those morning storms that we had across much of central and eastern Kentucky here, and it took a little while, but probably mid-evening we finally started to see a few thunderstorms develop just southeast of Louisville. They worked through Frankfort, Georgetown, and then we had the warnings for here in Fayette County and Lexington. And this cluster here actually is kind of that parent storm that has worked its way up the I-64 corridor.
And it's got that supercell look for sure. It's got that hail core on the north side of the storm, and it's got that rotation right over top of Owensville there right now. You kind of see it behind me. And then the north side, see where between Salt Lick and Grange City, north and east of Owensville, that's the hail. And then the tornado, if there is one, would be somewhere near Owensville right now.
So, as Dylan said, we've been tracking. You can see that little notch right there. That's where the inflow generally is, just right here in this area. So this is basically what appears to be a hook, and where you see the darker shading there, that's where the hail is probably coming down at a pretty good clip. So let's take a look at the velocity data.
Right over top 64.
Right over top of Owensville. You see the green and the red side by side. See if it looks a little bit different. Yeah, right there in that area. But that's a great thing about our equipment here. It can really pick up on the algorithm. Now notice the shear, that light green that we had earlier, it's disappeared for the time being. Now it may reappear, but again, that usually gives us a pretty good indication, even though the structure of the storm shows us that it is showing the supercell characteristics with that hook on the back side of it. Let's look at the SCIT data updated here. And the possibility of hail definitely has it. About an 80% chance of severe hail, and it could be upwards of about 1.5 inches hail, which is probably just shy of about ping pong ball sized. And that's eventually, again, there's Sharkey, there's Farmers, there's the exit right here where I've got it circled. Right on I-64, it's that exit just before you get to Moorhead. So it's going to be rolling right down the interstate here. And let me slide this over just a little bit. And here's Moorhead. So you're not in the warning polygon, red. You are under the severe thunderstorm warning that continues for that area. But we just had the tornado warning for basically eastern Bath County and the western part of Rowan County. It looks like the hail core is just right on the county line. And now where the little notch is, where the potential hook is here on the back side of it, where we would see the possible tornado, that is now east of Owensville. Again, I do think it will pass just to the north of Salt Lick. It basically looks like it's riding the interstate.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And it's got the hail on the north side of it. We have a camera in Mount Sterling. You can't really see much on that camera right now. You can see some lightning in the distance. I'm just trying to see if we could see some lightning that may show the base of the storm, because Mount Sterling's to the west of where we would see anything. And there where the mouse, there you just see some lightning. You would see this is looking towards the east, back at the backside of that storm, but it's not really showing anything right now.
All right, so that's that cell, of course, and we've still got some activity going on down here into southern central Kentucky. So Stanton, I think you've got some hail to your south there with the warning in Powell County, stretching to the east and southeast of Urban. A lot of heavy rain down toward Berea, lightning up in Richmond, and then of course this trails all the way back through Stanford, Crab Orchard, and then that long-lived supercell, which is still showing.
Looks like it's the shear now, gate-to-gate shear is what we look for, that rotating wind over 90 miles per hour, showing that spin.
And again, our algorithm here picking up that cone there, that's the shear marker, and that is, again, the data picking up on the shear, about 92 miles per hour. That's essentially what it's been showing consistently here for about the last, half hour, 45 minutes that we've been watching it as it's crept into just the southern southwestern part of the viewing area. So it looks like it's moving due east. So It's going to be over toward Russell Springs here in about 11 minutes. And then
that one's running parallel right to the Cumberland Parkway. So we've got the one tornado warned storm running right along I-64, and then now we have this in southern Kentucky, south central Kentucky, riding right along the Cumberland Parkway.
So there's really two, obviously, to be concerned with, the one along 64 and, of course, the one here in southern Kentucky. It's basically just kind of on the north side of Lake Cumberland. Just the way that it's moving and the structure of some of these cells here, they have a tendency sometimes, especially when they last for a rather lengthy period of time, sometimes they'll be kind of right turners, and you'll see those eventually slide to the southeast. And originally we kind of thought that that's what we might end up seeing down toward Monticello, but at this point it is taking a due eastward track. That being said, if it continues to show those characteristics, even though you're not under a warning, it's going to hit the east side of Lake Cumberland. It's almost over Russell Springs right now. I think you've got some hail, and this is the part of the cell that, again, potentially has a rotation with it. Somerset, Burnside, they're in Pulaski, central and southern, and especially western Pulaski County, say out 80 and the Cumberland Parkway toward the Nancy community. This is going to be making a beeline toward you, coming up here shortly. Let me take a look at the velocity data on this. It's kind of in that in-between zone with the radars, with Louisville to the northwest and Jackson off here to the east. And sometimes, you're shooting pretty high in it, but you see the reds and the greens, again, going toward and away from the radar site, with the radar being back here off to the north east here in Jackson. Let's see if the shear is still picking up. So, of course it is. I'm going a little bit closer here.
And we have some people, we don't cover the Russell County a whole lot, but some people do pick us up there on television sets. So this is another thing that we need to consider with this storm as well.
Yeah, and it's a Friday night, and we're in the springtime now, and even though the water's a little bit on the chilly side, a lot of folks are beginning to go to the lake, and there's Jamestown, and you can see Lake Cumberland very closely here. That's where the circulation is, right over Russell Springs there in Russell County, where that tornado warning goes until, I believe, 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central, because you get back toward Adair County and you jump into the central time zone. So, again, it's kind of a beeline, and there I mentioned Nancy, which is right there along Lake Cumberland, just south of the Cumberland Parkway. This thing is heading your way. You notice how the shear cone there jumped to catch up with the shear data, and where you see the darker shading in between Russell Springs and Jamestown, that's where it's picking up. Again, some decent rotation there. The velocity data essentially following suit, where you see that green and almost white right next to the red. That's the area right there. That gives us, in addition to the algorithm, that shows us that that's where the possible rotation is. So really anywhere in Russell County, and even though you're not in it yet, in western Pulaski County, if you're watching down Somerset, you need to go ahead and probably get to your safe place, or at least start thinking about it, because again, this cell has had a history of producing a possible tornado. I mean, this thing's been hanging around for quite a while, to say the least.
Yeah,
So,
and I just wanted to provide an update on the warning there in Rowan County now, far eastern Bath County. They have allowed that to continue through 10:30, so still around 7 minutes left on that warning. They have a severe thunderstorm warning for Moorhead. So Moorhead, you do not have a tornado warning, but you do have a severe thunderstorm warning. That storm is just to your west.
so we got two that we're dealing with here.
Yep.
Dylan telling you the one up I-64, they're approaching Moorhead, and you can see behind him on the screen that it still has a little bit of a hook, that bit of a notch, so it's showing signs of rotation. And again, this cell here that's down just on the north side of Lake Cumberland, there's Nancy, there's Somerset. It is making a beeline toward Pulaski County, Burnside as well. So any of these areas, Somerset, Burnside, Nancy, go ahead and at least start to make your way potentially to your safe place, because they very well may extend the warning to the east, because you're jumping warning responsibilities, with Russell County being Louisville's responsibility, and Somerset and Pulaski County, that's coming out of Jackson. So they may extend this thing. And again, looking at it, the shear marker still being picked up by the radar data. So wanted to kind of zoom in there a little bit just to give you a better idea. I'll pull out just a bit, give you kind of a bird's eye view. So it's past Columbia, it's going to be north of Monticello, and eventually it's going to run over toward Somerset. No tornado warning for Pulaski County yet, but just given the history of this cell, which literally developed all the way back into western Kentucky, and I think for its entirety of its life cycle here, even though it has cycled, there has been a tornado warning all the way down the line. Now, it was a little stronger when it was back toward Glasgow and Barron County. They had some pretty strong rotation. This is a cell that impacted Bowling Green within the last hour, hour and a half. So let me just kind of jump back a little bit farther to the north here. You got heavy, heavy rain, Berea over toward Irvin. This is bowing out a little bit.
Yeah, there was
here.
a damage report in Powell County, a tree's down as well with that bowed segment of the storm there.
So essentially what you're looking at here is, and I'll hit the telestrator, right here, the leading edge of this, that's kind of bowing out. So it's going to make a run if it fans out. The south side of it there, Beattyville, the north side of it kind of toward Frenchburg. And in the type of scenario and the setup that we have out there tonight, anytime you get a little bowing segment where it kind of punches in the middle on the north side and on the south side, sometimes you can get a little isolated spin up tornado. That's pretty common with this kind of setup. We see it many times here, and as Dylan was mentioning, they just pushed the severe thunderstorm warning for this. It's on Campton's doorstep. This is right on the Mountain Parkway, right there where you split off. You keep going east on the Mountain Parkway, you get off the Campton exit and you take Kentucky 15 down to Jackson. It is literally coming into the west side of Campton and Wolfe County right now, and on the north side of Beattyville. And I highly suspect we're looking at winds 60, 65 miles per hour or greater, because you remember we talked all day long about the possibility of winds being a bigger problem than the isolated tornado threat, and potential winds upwards of even 70, 75 miles per hour. So West Liberty, Cyrusville, Jackson, all in this severe thunderstorm warning now that they just extended eastward.
And they did extend the tornado warning as well. Moorhead, you are now under a tornado warning through 11 o'clock. So get in that safe location, basement, most interior room within your home. This is not a confirmed tornado, but there's a look at it on radar, the notch there to the south and the west of Moorhead. You're likely getting hail on the north side of town, so that's enough to get into your safe location as well. And of course, we do have that tornado warning.
Yeah, and while you were showing that, I'm zooming into it just a little bit closer here. So here's Moorhead. There's where the possible rotation is. So it literally is right there on the Bath County, Rowan County line. It has now moved into Rowan County. It's right at the Farmer Sharkey exit, right before you get to Moorhead. On the north side of Moorhead, look at how dark the shading is on the reflectivity. That's some larger hail. Highly suspect maybe getting upwards of, look at what the algorithm is picking up.
Yeah.
It's picking up over 2-inch in diameter hail, which is upwards of probably potentially golf ball size to even baseball size. This is actually one of the I guess, better hail signatures that we have seen with any of the storms, especially any that we've seen here in the viewing area. So if you're in Moorhead or up toward Hayes Crossings, or if you live just north of Moorhead, if you've got a place to put your vehicle under cover, I know it's last minute, probably a good idea to do that. Because again, this thing is trying to crank out some serious hail. Let me get rid of the data there, and we'll take a look at the hail track on that. Yeah, you can see here Moorhead. Again, the tornado warning goes till the top of the hour. But where you see some of the darker shading here, that means that hail is probable within this supercell thunderstorm. And this is, again, the same one that developed south of Louisville. It cranked out the severe thunderstorm warning for Frankfort, for Georgetown, here in Lexington. And when it got to the east, that's when Dylan and I were really watching it. It just was showing signs of wanting to get its act together with some possible rotation. And just looking at the shear algorithm where you see the green there, it's kind of on the north side of it. There's rotation. I think it's probably fairly broad, the greens and the reds side by side there. But the SKIT data does a really good job of indicating where the possible rotation is. And of course, just even the regular reflectivity radar signature back here, if we've got anything spinning, it's going to be just to the west of Moorhead. So if you're in the city of Moorhead in Rowan County, tornado warning until the top of the hour, 30 minutes. You need to be in your safe place now. A basement is best. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, lowest level of your home, preferably a closet or a bathroom. You want to go down, not up. If you live in a 2-story home, multiple levels, get to the lowest floor. So given the fact that this seems to be maybe cycling and intensifying, definitely with the hail, again, the darker the shading with the reflectivity, the larger the potential hail is. And I'll be interested to see here over the next 15 to say 30 minutes as this moves up Interstate 64, eventually into eastern Rowan and over into Carter County and up toward Olive Hill, what kind of hail reports we start to see and what kind of pictures we get in, because again, that's the strongest hail signature that we have seen so far tonight with this supercell thunderstorm that's really gotten its act
we
together.
do now have a tornado warning for Pulaski County with that southern storm, and that does include the Somerset area, it does include Nancy, does include Burnside for those, and Shopville there into Pulaski County.
So this is what we were concerned about a little bit earlier, right after we went off the air after 6 o'clock. The Storm Prediction Center, even though we didn't have anything going on here in our area, indicated that's why they put the tornado watch out, which all of central and eastern Kentucky is still under until 3 a.m. in the morning. We didn't have much going on, but they mentioned that the possibility of tornadoes was still on the table despite the fact that there wasn't much going on. So what we've got here, and I'll just kind of broaden it out and really kind of give you the bird's eye view of everything right now. So we've got 2 different storms that we're looking at here. We've got the possible tornado and tornado warning there for Rowan County, including the city of Moorhead, and as Dylan mentioned, the long-lived supercell that developed all the way back into western Kentucky. It is held together. It moved through Bowling Green, Glasgow, and literally has just gone right down the Cumberland Parkway, and now it is on the doorstep of Somerset there in Pulaski County. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Just bear with me and we'll take a look at it. So Unfortunately, it takes a little time because we got one cell in the northeastern part of the viewing area, and then this one here in the southern part of the viewing area.
Complete
So there it is,
opposite ends of the
front,
viewing area.
yeah, opposite ends, front and center. So it's just to the east of Russell Springs. There is our shear marker that tells us that there is some possible rotation, and the shear skit data. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get it there. Having a little trouble clicking on it, but Pulaski County, that warning goes until, what is it, Dylan?
11:15.
11:15. So Russell County, it goes until 10:45. Sometimes it's hard to hit that thing underneath the...
Yeah, I'll try to get it on
yeah,
mine.
if you can. Oh, here it is.
Just updated.
It popped out.
92
so, all right.
gate to gate.
There we go. Okay, so you've got your shear, 100% chance of hail, large hail possible with this one as well. And here are some of the communities. It's 1033. I mentioned Nancy before. Nancy at 1045. Southwestern High School, 1049. Braunston, 1051. City of Somerset, 1051. Burnside, 1052. And of course that goes for Somerset High School and Pulaski County High School. Those are just some of your markers, so to speak, for this possible tornado with the warning that goes for Pulaski County, including the city of Somerset, that goes until 11:15. So with that, that's probably going to take us obviously all the way past 11 o'clock, and we're going to obviously stick with this because that was our concern leading up to today. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about it through the day today. Everybody needed to stay weather aware. The chances of wind damage being impacted by that was greater than the tornado possibility, but now front and center, we've got a few spots of concern here. So just checking the velocity data here. Again, what we do with that, anything in green is going toward the radar site, which is over here at Jackson. Anything in red is going away. Let me look at the storm relative to see if it picks up. See, it's picking up a whole lot better with that. So with our red and green side by side right here, so it's east of Russell Springs and Jamestown. It's just to the south of the Cumberland Parkway. Basically, if it stays with that eastward trek, it will impact the southwest side of Somerset, possibly in between Somerset and Burnside there. So with that, I'm going to push in just a little bit closer to see if we can zoom in on some of the other areas. So here's the possible rotation there in western Pulaski County. If you're in Vinnie, you need to be in your safe place. Naomi, same story. Nancy, I've mentioned you several times, been down there for a few school visits in years past, just south of the Cumberland Parkway, just right there on the north side of the lake. Any of those areas, go to your safe place. Basement's best. Don't have a basement, interior room, lowest level of your home. Go down, not up. If you live in a mobile home, hopefully you have a predetermined safer structure that you can go to, because you don't want to be in a mobile home when there's the potential of a possible tornado. Let's look at our shear data and what the algorithm is picking up on, and it's pretty much following suit with what the radar is as well, the velocity data here. As far as hail is concerned, there is some hail in it as well, and it actually looks like, in addition to the tornado warning, they just stuck out a severe thunderstorm warning for that
They had
cell.
an inch, quarter-size hail reported in the Salem area of Russell County.
All right, so 2 storms we're concerned with. One impacting Moorhead, one about to impact Somerset here. So here's the city of Somerset. Here is the cell in question. It's this area down here just south of Windsor, and with its eastward movement, we're already starting to see some heavier rain. I've taken the lightning data off just because you see what happens, and when I'm zoomed in a little bit closer, it's not as disruptive, but when we widen out, those lightning strikes get bigger, at least on the map, and it becomes a lot more difficult to get your bearings as far as what's going on. But wanted to put it on there to show you that this is clearly a prolific lightning maker, and it's going to continue to do that. So there's our shear marker indicating the rotation with the warning that still goes for another few minutes there in Russell County, and then of course Pulaski County, including the city of Somerset. I'll kind of broaden things out here. Science Hill, you're not in the tornado warning polygon, but probably better to be in your safe place anywhere up and down US 27 here, either side of Somerset. Burnside, you are in it. Mill Springs just out of it. But this is, again, a long-lived supercell that developed all the way back into western Kentucky. It has held together. It continues to show signs of rotation, and it's going to move through Nancy and then eventually over towards Somerset. And then if it holds together, probably south of Shopville and then over toward Mount Victory. So there's your warning for Pulaski County until 11:15. Are you checking on the...
Yeah, the Rowan County storm. We still have that storm, and I'm going to show you here. It's south and east of Moorhead where we would have a tornado if it is producing one. There is that rotation. We've got a rotation detector showing that moderate to strong shear south and east of Moorhead. So if you're in the Elliotteville area, get into that safe location that we've been talking about all evening. Most interior room, away from those doors and windows. If you have a basement, that's the best place to be. In the latest radar scan,
it's really showing some...
Yeah, that's one of the more impressive signatures that we've had. That's moving east there near the Christie area in Rowan County.
Take that full again, Al, if you can.
Yeah, take that full. These are some areas. If you're in the Elliotteville area, the Christie area sideway, those locations, you are under a tornado warning, and that rotation's right on top of the Dry Creek Road area, heading out Christie Creek towards Elliotteville there in Rowan County. So those are some of the communities that could be impacted by this storm. The ordinary location south and east of Elliotteville. If you see your road on here, if you see a loved one's road, make sure that they are getting alerted for this storm.
So that's the beauty of having two of us in here at one time. Dylan's dealing with the northern storm. I'm going to deal with the southern storm. We have two supercell thunderstorms that are moving through the viewing area, one impacting southern Kentucky, about to roll into the Somerset area, the other one up toward Moorhead and Rowan County. And again, both of these have the potential of producing a tornado. This one down here in southern Kentucky, you see the shear marker. It's picking up on that circulation. Upwards of 2-inch in diameter hail is going to be possible with this cell. Kind of an update on some of the areas impacted. Southwestern High School in about 12 minutes. Somerset proper in about 14 minutes. So you got a little bit of lead time here. We haven't had any reports of touchdowns and the like, at least not recently. But nevertheless, as this cell has worked its way off to the east, it literally has been producing, or at least prompting, tornado warnings from back west of Bowling Green all the way now toward the Somerset area. So Shopville, you're in the polygon. Obviously Somerset, Ruth, Burnside, Nancy, it's probably right on your doorstep right now. As Dylan was looking and showing you the shear algorithm for the cell up in Rowan County, it's kind of a similar scenario. This is where the data is picking up on the rotation. So there's Nancy. It is just to your west. So if you're in Nancy there on the north side of Lake Cumberland, just west of Somerset, out Kentucky 80 and the Cumberland Parkway, be in your safe spot. If you're in Somerset, you're hearing my voice, be in your safe spot, because the possible rotation, it is coming your way, and you got about 10 minutes. Note the red and the green side by side. That's what we look for here. Going away from the radar, which is back here at Jackson, is in red. Going toward the radar, that's green. When you get those side by side, right here where I'm circling, right here in this area, that's where your possible rotation is. And of course, the algorithm with the radar system picking up on that nicely. So this has, again, been showing signs of rotation for, oh gosh, well over an hour, maybe hour and a half. So this is the scenario and this is the environment that we were expecting. It's been in place, and long and the short of it, we've kind of been playing the waiting game all day long, and actually thought we might get through this evening unscathed. But,
and I just want to mention as well, with the storm I'm tracking there in Rowan County, they now upped it, the hail, to 2 inches. So that's chicken egg,
wow,
hen egg size hail. That's moving into Elliotteville right now. If there's a tornado, it's here, south and west of Elliotteville. Elliotteville, this is hail. What I'm putting the dash marks in, that is where we have a hail core that could produce upwards of 2-inch diameter hail. That's 2 inches around there, the diameter of that, the hen egg, the chicken egg that you go buy from the store. That is how big that hail could be within this storm. And it's still showing that that shear is still present. It's south, again, there's Christie, there's Elliotteville. The tornado, if there is one, not confirmed, it's just radar indicated right now, would be to the south of Elliotteville. What's this road here that we're looking at? Hogtown.
And all that's east of Moorhead.
Yes, it is now east of Moorhead. So this is moving into eastern Rowan County, almost outside of our viewing area. If you live along Sand Gap Road, Laurel Ridge, if anywhere south of Elliotteville in Rowan County, make sure you are getting into your tornado safe location right now. We're zooming it really far in. I know that spinning circle there looks kind of intimidating, but where you're seeing that red, that maroon color in the side of the green, that strong wind shear that the radar's picking up on, and that's why you're seeing this spinning shear marker there just to the south of the Christie area.
So far, we haven't gotten any reports as far as damage or confirmed tornadoes, but this is why we emphasized from earlier in the week, and especially yesterday and today, to stay weather aware. We had the morning round, the break for much of the day, and with it being a Friday night, heading into a weekend, folks are out and about doing their thing, and this is what we were concerned with, that we would get a nighttime severe weather event, which included the potential for tornadoes, and unfortunately that is being realized. We've kind of escaped relatively unscathed at this point, especially compared to what they've dealt with once again in southeastern Missouri, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, up towards St. Louis. Some fatalities earlier today with that, and a number of reports up in between Louisville and Indianapolis in southern Indiana.
And we just got the potential debris detected in Rowan County.
Yeah, take that full if you can, Al.
So what you're seeing, the gray right there, that is our radar picking up on potential debris. I believe it was one scan before this. You can't really see it because it's covering it up, but that would be the potential indication for a radar confirmed tornado. So if this red box turns purple, that would mean that the National Weather Service office in Jackson would confirm this tornado. And our radar's picking up on the potential for that here shortly. That's south of Elliotteville, south of Christie in Rowan County. A potential tornado has just touched down or is about to touch down because the radar data
is really...
The debris,
it dropped a little bit maybe?
One scan before this, you might have been able to see that blue right there. That may have been what it pinged on. When you're seeing the blue, that indicates that it's something abnormal to the radar. Raindrops, hail would be different shades of color, but when you see that blue kind of surrounded by the red and the yellows, that would indicate it's something abnormally shaped, like debris from trees or something like that.
Well, and that algorithm that Dylan was showing you there in gray, that lets us know that there's some confirmed debris, at least that's what the radar is picking up on. We've had this system, a little over a year, Dylan. I think that's the second time, only the second time that we've seen that gray algorithm and the gray marker indicating the possibility of some debris. So that's one to really watch. Now, here in southern Kentucky, the possible rotation coming up on Nancy. Somerset, you got heavy rain, probably got some large hail, especially back here on the southwestern side. So the rotation's right over Nancy, so you've still got a few minutes there in Somerset. And I'll zoom in a little bit closer just to kind of give you a little better idea to look at some of the areas impacted. So there's Nancy, Southwestern High School, Ferguson, Cedar Grove, downtown Somerset, Ringgold. So it looks like it's going to be out towards Southwestern High School, Pulaski Southwestern, and probably past just south of downtown. Our shear, which shows it much more clearly in the moderate range. Now, if we look at the actual velocity data, the reds and the greens pretty much lining up with that. It's in that area right there, and it is moving off to the east. So I wanted to go in a little bit closer just to kind of give you an idea. And then looking at the radar, where you see that pink oil center north of Nancy, that's probably where we've got some decent hail. There's your pink that trails back into the northwestern western parts of Pulaski County here. So we've got two different cells that we're dealing with. We've got the tornado warning here in Pulaski County, and of course the tornado warning up into eastern Rowan and probably over into Carter County. Once it gets over toward Carter County, that kind of gets to the edge of our viewing area here, and we'll probably concentrate more on the one that we've got down here in Somerset, because that goes past the top of the hour. So we'll probably kick into the newscast, or at least cover that part of it up until we get past these warnings, assuming that we do, because we're not done with this. When these expire, at least it doesn't appear to be the case, because just kind of pulling back and looking at the bigger picture here and going back, you see what's happening out here to the west. And again, I'm on Jackson's radar, so it's shooting a good ways away. So I'm going to switch over to Louisville's radar just to kind of give you a little better idea as far as this line of storms. All the yellow polygons here, these are all severe thunderstorm warnings. This is the squall line that we were expecting. The higher resolution data has been picking up on it for about the last day. It looked like we were going to have maybe an initial wave with a few isolated supercells. That seems to be playing out. And then the main batch here, which is cruising into the western part of the metro area. In fact, Fayette County, we got a severe thunderstorm warning for basically the Lexington metro area, and that goes until 11:30. We've already had one round. We had some hail, some lightning, some heavy rain, but I think all up and down here, Nicholsville, here in Lexington, Frankfort, it's on top of you right now, but down toward Harrodsburg, Danville, Lebanon, Campbellsville, all those locations, do expect some very, very strong winds, probably in excess of 60 to 65 miles per hour as this squall line of storms works through the Bluegrass region, southern Kentucky, and we still have the activity that, of course, is ongoing out here into northeastern Kentucky, east of Moorhead now. We got warnings down here toward Jackson. I'll switch that back over to their radar so you have a little better idea, because it, of course, picks it up even more clearly. So a lot of activity there, and the long-lived supercell thunderstorm here, which is just right on the doorstep of Somerset. You see our shear marker indicating the possible rotation. Remember, literally this thing developed all the way back, I think, south of Paducah, and it has held its own right down the Cumberland Parkway, through Bowling Green, through Glasgow, through just south of Columbia, through Russell Springs, and now it is coming up on Somerset. Highly suspect you got some large hail falling in downtown Somerset and up towards Science Hill. This little notch here, right where the shear marker is and the shear data, upwards of 2-inch in diameter hail. What are we talking? Over golf ball size?
Yeah, 2-inch diameter is chicken egg size.
Yeah, there you go. So that's what we're looking at with the hail potential. You see that there, the BTI, which is our Barron Tornado Index, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. It's kicking out at about 5.6, maybe just a touch higher than that. But again, 90% chance of severe hail, and I've mentioned it. Nancy, it's on top of you right now. 10:52, about 8 minutes. It'll be out towards Southwestern High School, Ferguson there, community just south of downtown, Pulaski County High School at 11:04. Minute later at Somerset High School, and then a little bit farther east here, we got Northfield at 11:12. Poplarville 11:17, and out toward Mount Victory out in the eastern part of the county, that's at 11:21. So that's
I do want to update
areas.
this storm. It's moving out of our viewing area. It's moving out of Rowan County into Elliott County. So Elliotttville, stay in your tornado safe location. This warning's through 11 o'clock, so still 7 minutes on it, but it's likely west of Elliotttville near the Christie area. Christie's already out of it. Elliotttville, you're still in the warning right now, but the worst of the storm, where we're seeing that rotation, is moving right across the county line from Rowan County into Elliott County. This is Elliott County here, Rowan County here for Elliotttville. It's now moving over counties outside of our viewing area technically. So once this completely gets out of Rowan County, we can give you the all clear, and that should be happening here shortly.
Yeah, and it looks like there's some heavier rain that's going to follow suit, Cave Run Lake there and over toward Moorhead. But this is the cell front and center that we're continuing to track. Haven't gotten anything in the way of damage reports, anything of the like from the Weather Service.
I will say,
if you see anything
I'm getting
online?
some texts potentially looking at maybe with that cell in Somerset that we could be seeing possibly some debris showing up on the debris detector.
All right, let me go a little bit closer here.
That's unconfirmed again, just trying to relay that to TG.
Absolutely. All right, so it's right over Nancy. There's our shear marker. Taking a look at the shear, it's right over just east of Nancy. They're on the north side of the lake, just coming up on Somerset. Now, we'll look at our, again, debris tracker, and you see the blue in here. When you see the yellow and the red, that's when it's pretty uniform and it's picking up on raindrops or snow if it's in the winter. But when it's blue, that's a drop in the value, as Dylan was explaining earlier, indicating that it's picking up on something that's not really uniform or small, and that can be debris that's being lofted, because remember, the radar beam is at the ground and the beam goes aloft, and a lot of times that stuff gets lofted, and so that's what we look for, is that CC drop. It's, to not get too technical, correlation coefficient with the dual polarity radars that are used now, but just basically the debris detector to keep it simple. And when we get a bit of blue there, especially where we have the possible rotation, that means that there's a possibility, even briefly, that this thing could have touched down there in the western part of Pulaski County, which is why if you're in Somerset, down toward Burnside, Ferguson, Ruth, up toward Shopville, over toward Mount Victory, any of these areas here, you need to be in a safe place. Again, a basement is best. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, lowest level of your home, preferably a closet or a bathroom. And I'm going in closer because I want to talk about some particular areas. Again, the shear marker is literally right over top of, almost right over top of Somerset proper. So I'm really going to go in close here. So up toward Ringgold, right along 80 there, where you see the darker shading, you got some large hail falling as well toward Pulaski County High School, Somerset High School. They're obviously not too far from one another. You've got Southwestern High School down here, and then down toward Bourbon, Ferguson. Again, the rotation's out here to the west. On the north side of the cell, that's where you've got the larger hail. But just given what Dylan was talking about relative to the potential of some debris possibly being lofted, and given the fact that this has been a long-lived supercell thunderstorm that developed all the way back probably to the south of Paducah. If not, I probably would have to go back and check the radar. It may have in fact developed in southeastern Missouri, hopped the Mississippi River, gone across western Kentucky, and then it has literally followed and gone right down the Cumberland Parkway here, and it is on the doorstep for Somerset, which is why we have the tornado warning for Pulaski County for about another 18 minutes. It goes until 11:15, and just given the storm structure of this, we're going to hang with it until the warning's clear. If they kick it eastward, we'll keep going, because again, with the environment that we have out there tonight, this is totally legitimate. Remember, we were in a level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk with an elevated tornado risk central down into southern Kentucky, including this area of southern Kentucky around Somerset. So this is why we would stay with it anyway, but given the storm structure and that we continue to see the shear marker, we're seeing some large hail. And I think Dylan has the live cam up from downtown Somerset on the other source.
This is courtesy of the Somerset-Pulaski Economic Development Authority. This is their camera that's there in downtown Somerset. Possibly some hail. You can see a lot of lightning. The winds are starting to pick up a little bit as well.
All right, let's go back because now we've got a confirmed tornado in Pulaski County where you see the purple flashing polygon. That means that it has been sighted or it's been confirmed. That's a difference from the red polygon to the purple polygon. So we've now a confirmed tornado warning for Pulaski County until 11:45. So if you're in the city of Somerset or in central or eastern Pulaski County, Shopville along Kentucky 80, Ruth, Mount Victory, this is the real deal. This is confirmed. It's been sighted. This isn't radar indicated. I think this is the first time since it's been a while that we've actually had a confirmed tornado, and that's what the flashing purple polygon indicates. That's the differential between radar indicated with the red polygon and the purple polygon here. So our shear marker has done a really, really good job of picking up on where the possible rotation is. So I'm going to go in a little bit closer. This thing's right on top of Somerset right now. As far as the velocity is concerned, there's the signature. Toward the radar's in green, away from the radar is in red. You've got these side by side right here on the south side of Somerset, out toward Pulaski Southwestern High School. That area right there is where the possible rotation is. And we talked about the debris detector here. When you see that blue surrounded by, usually it has to be a little bit more uniform than it is, but the fact that it's clearly been confirmed because it was upgraded to a confirmed tornado, it's going to be in this area here, downtown Somerset, out toward Pulaski Southwest High School, down toward Burnside, Bronson, all of those areas are shear. There you see in the red shading, south of Somerset, really toward Ferguson. I'm going to go in even closer here because I want to get to some specific communities. So really coming right
in European football history and secure a spot in next year's Champions League, Europa League final on CBS Sports Network and streaming live on Paramount Plus.
Toward the radar's in green, away from the radar is in red. You've got these side by side right here on the south side of Somerset, out toward Pulaski Southwestern High School. That area right there is where the possible rotation is. And we talked about the debris detector here. When you see that blue surrounded by, usually it has to be a little bit more uniform than it is, but the fact that it's clearly been confirmed because it was upgraded to a confirmed tornado, it's going to be in this area here, downtown Somerset, out toward Pulaski Southwest High School, down toward Burnside, Bronson, all of those areas are shear. There you see in the red shading, south of Somerset, really toward Ferguson. I'm going to go in even closer here because I want to get to some specific communities. So really coming right down US 127, looks like it's right on top of that. So Ferguson looks like Elihu, and then over toward, what is that, Alcalade, I believe, Ruth.
We've got multiple power flashes west-southwest of Somerset.
Okay, so this is going to be your tornado right here. So there's Southwestern High School, Pulaski Southwest High School on the southwest side of Somerset, and it's purple here as we're zoomed in. because it's now a confirmed tornado warning for Pulaski County until 11:45. This, again, is a basically long track supercell thunderstorm that's had a history of possibly producing tornadoes, especially back toward Bowling Green. But you can really see it here on the reflectivity. It's the signature that you look for, that little bit of a hook kind of appendage on the back side. And we look at the velocity data, which, again, it's the storm winds. It tells us what the winds are doing relative to the radar site, the reds and the greens. When you get those very bright side by side, that indicates to us that there's a possible tornado. And again, as Dylan mentioned, with power flashes, that means you've got this thing on the ground, probably on the south side of Somerset.
And there is a drone picture. We don't have access to it, but you can see a funnel reaching down that was just south and west not too long ago, about 5 minutes ago, of Somerset. You can't really lightning flash, you can kind of illuminate it, but this is another live look in downtown Somerset. Quickly, you can just see those winds. The winds were a lot stronger. Those trees were kind of parallel to the ground not too long ago as well. So get in that safe location. Looks like there is still power in downtown Somerset, but that may not last long.
Yeah, it's on the south side. All right, let's come back to me full, Al, if we can here. So you see the rotation here, or at least the shear detection. It is very, very strong. It's now east of Ferguson. So here's US 127. So some of the smaller communities off just southeast, of downtown Somerset, getting into the east central part of Pulaski County. Ruth, Meese, what is that? Is that Colo? I believe it is. Yeah. Any of those areas, you need to be in a basement or an interior room in the lowest level of your home. Out Rush Branch Road toward Meese, Kettlehead Road, those areas, this thing is literally on your doorstep right now. So a confirmed tornado. Again, Dylan said there's drone video, reports of power flashes as well. I know we've got severe thunderstorm warnings here in the Lexington metro area. If you're hearing the thunder, maybe some heavy rain on the rooftop, wonder what's going on. We've got a confirmed tornado warning for Pulaski County. It looks like the rotation here, we're zoomed in very, very closely. I want to give folks a heads up kind of down the line here. So it looks like Poplarville Road there at Poplarville, Mudlick Branch, and then out toward Mount Victory. We've mentioned those areas. Let me extend it out a little bit just to kind of give you a little bird's eye view and get your bearings here. So there's downtown Somerset. Here's the possible tornado, or actually confirmed tornado. It's right out here on the southeast side of town, and it's about to run out toward the Ruth area and then out toward Mount Victory in the eastern part of Pulaski County. Let me take a look at the debris detector, and this area right here, this is the CC drop as we call it. It's this blue right here. The radar is picking up on objects that have a different value. If it's red, orange, yellow, that typically means it's rain. But if it's a lower value, it turns blue, and that generally means something like a tree branch or part of a roof or any kind of debris that may be lofted. And a lot of times that gives us the indication that the tornado has touched down and it is lofting debris in the air, and confirms that this thing is in fact on the ground. So when we see that CC drop, and luckily we do not see it often, but we've got it out there tonight in Pulaski County. So this thing is going to run right toward Mount Victory in Pulaski County. So let me broaden things back out, put the regular radar data on. So you see the little appendage there. This is where the tornado is, right there on the southeast side. Burnside, it's north of you, so you're in pretty good shape, at least for now. Mount Victory, you're in the confirmed tornado warning polygon, which goes until 11:45. Now let's look down the line here a little bit, because you know who's next. We get into western Laurel County eventually here. Here's Laurel Lake, here's Keavy, Pine Grove, in between Corbin and London. If this thing stays on its current track, it's going to head over toward I-75 and probably cross between exit 38 and exit 29 there in that stretch of about 10 miles between South London and North Corbin. But we got to get there first.
There's a radar we don't have access to that's there, but it looks a lot more impressive that's really close. That radar there in South Central Kentucky, TG, that has a better look. And then also Billy Bowling, he's a storm chaser. He's been all across Kentucky today, reports power flashes Somerset right now, 11:04. So that is another confirmed potential tornado there with those power flashes.
So if you're tuning in for ABC 36 News now at 11 o'clock, the news is weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck along with meteorologist Dylan Godet, and we are tracking a confirmed tornado on the ground southeast of Somerset. You see our shear marker indicating the rotation and the reflectivity indicating that as well, and all of the boxes have been checked, so to speak. This is a pretty classic velocity signature here where the winds are going opposite directions right next to each other relative to the radar site. We've got the algorithm with the radar that picks up on that shear, which is the turning of the winds with altitude or the rotation with the tornado. That is right over Ruth in the east central part of Pulaski County and getting more so into eastern Pulaski County as it updates. So Mount Victory, and we mentioned Mount Victory a number of times, there in eastern Pulaski County, east of Somerset. Mount Victory, you need to be in your safe place now. Dykes, Poplarville, up toward Wheatstone, Goodwater, any of these little communities. Meese, it's probably right over top of you right now. Basement is best. If you don't have a basement, go to the lowest level of your home. Go down, not up. Interior room, you want to get away from exterior windows and walls. You want to protect yourself from the potential of flying debris. This situation right now tonight is much different than what we generally deal with. Usually we're looking at only radar indicated tornadoes, but in this particular case, it is confirmed, and now it has been extended eastward to include Laurel County, both London and Corbin. So I'm going to put the radar data back on it. But obviously, given the history of this is a long track supercell thunderstorm. Hasn't produced a tornado the entire time. It did back into western Kentucky, but it has run into a more favorable environment across southern Kentucky, and where you see the purple blinking polygon, that's different from the usual red outline polygon we get for a radar indicated tornado. This is a confirmed tornado. So now the new warning for Laurel County until midnight. This is a confirmed tornado warning. Corbin, you're not in it. It looks like it's going to be to your north. But if you're in Lilly, Keavy, Pine Grove, anywhere in the city of London, especially the south side, you got a lot of lead time here. You want to go to a basement, don't have a basement. Again, interior room, lowest level of your home, preferably a closet, bathroom. You want to get away from exterior windows and walls. And if you live in a mobile home, you have enough time to get to a sturdier structure, because in a situation like this, where we've got a confirmed tornado, that is not the place that you want to be. So let's get back to it here. Again, Wood Creek Lake, Billows, London, Pine Grove, Lilly, Keavy, probably out toward Bush Elementary eventually. You're not there yet, but really anywhere here across the eastern part of Pulaski County, especially south of Kentucky 80. Shot Bill's right there. And back here on the back edge, that's where our confirmed tornado is located. Dylan, what you got?
We're just relaying some information. Those power flashes, continue to get some reports of power flashes near Somerset. So that would indicate a tornado down on the ground, producing that damage, knocking down those power lines for sure.
And that's the difference tonight, folks. This is a little bit different than what we usually deal with. That's one of the reasons that the Storm Prediction Center had out the level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk, which is very unusual, but the dynamics in place, even though much of the day was spent kind of playing the waiting game here, and it's always dangerous, especially at night, especially on a Friday night, heading into a weekend, that's one of the reasons that we talked about definitely having your plan and being weather aware. So the confirmed tornado warning, we've got it. The shear's definitely up there. We got some larger hail with it. Even though the BTI is only about 5, doesn't matter. This one's confirmed. So Mount Victory here, you got about 10 minutes still. This is heading toward Dykes, Mount Victory, Goodwater. Any of those areas, can't emphasize that enough. This is not radar indicated. It is a confirmed tornado warning that goes until 11:45 for Pulaski County. Think it's going to be out of there by that time because it's 11:11 and it's already getting into the eastern part of Pulaski County, but it's been extended into Laurel County. So if you're in London, if you're waking up, if you've got your way to get alerts and the sirens have gone off on your phone or alert on your phone and you're tuning in to see what's going on, we got a confirmed tornado in Pulaski County, now east of Somerset. But here are the arrival times. Again, Mount Victory 11:21, Sandy Gap 11:25, Laurel Lake at 11:35, Bernstadt 11:36, Keevee 11:38, and Wood Creek Lake, which is just off to the northwest of London, just up the interstate. That's at about 11:38 as well. So lots of lead time on this. And again, the data, everything kind of checking the boxes with the radar signature here. Where you see the pink, that's where we've got the potential for some large hail. Our velocity signature, it is still there as well. And again, the shear, which the algorithm picks up on that, where you see that green, that's where we have it. So I'm going to broaden this out just a little bit. Because again, most folks are not used to seeing this. You usually see the red outline polygon for a tornado warning. When you see the purple, that means it's gone from radar indicated to confirmed. And that's what we've got as far as the warnings until 11:45 for Pulaski County and for Laurel County until midnight. Again, it's just right on the county line. Corbin proper, not in the warning. London is, Keevee is, Lilly is as well. So anywhere into Laurel County, London, if you're hearing my voice, be in your safe space now. You got a lot of lead time. Go there. We've had reports of some power flashes back southwest of Somerset with this cell as it has, again, been holding its own for literally a couple of hours. We'll have to go back and check the radar data because we've got a lot of storms that have been ongoing out across western Kentucky and into southern Indiana and back into southern Illinois that have done a lot of damage. But this may, in fact, be one of these long track supercells. It's not down on the ground as far as a tornado the entire time, but it may have developed all the way back into Missouri. Know for a fact it's cranked out tornado warnings from west of Bowling Green and then all the way down the Cumberland Parkway and now running just south of Kentucky 80 and headed over toward the I-75 corridor.
And the debris, every scan we get, continues to show up there.
Okay, I'm going to go back in. So many moving parts here just to show you, obviously, the velocity data, but our shear showed you where the rotation is. Mount Victory, I've mentioned it. Now, our debris detector, there is your debris ball right now. Actually, here, sounds like we got a little hail on the rooftop here.
We did just have a 56-mile-per-hour wind gust reported at the airport in Lexington. So,
all right, so take me back full, Al, if we can. Right here, this circle, that is a classic signature on radar of a debris ball. What the radar is looking for, it's looking for objects that are larger than the surrounding area, so to speak. Usually when you see the yellows and the reds around, that's just rain. But when it's a lower value, it becomes darker, and that blue indicates debris aloft. It's objects that are not uniform. They're not small like rain or snow in the winter, be that as it may.
Yeah, and I just saw a photo, don't have access to show it, but a tornado on the ground, clearly illuminated by lightning there near Somerset. That was posted at 11:11.
Okay, so we're at 11:16. That was 5 minutes ago. So this is one of these nights where it's serious business, folks. Here is our debris ball in between Dykes and Poplarville coming up on Mount Victory and Goodwater. So if you're here in extreme eastern Pulaski County and into western Laurel County, Bald Rock, it looks like it's going to be north of you. Clearly, this has touched down in Pulaski County, just southwest of Somerset, and it has lofted debris, because with our debris detector, you look for the darker blue surrounded by the lighter colors. And again, that is the radar detecting those objects that are larger in the atmosphere, say tree limbs, parts of homes, as opposed to rain or snow if it's in the wintertime. So that's a signature that we hope we don't see on radar, but unfortunately we are tonight, and that's a rarity, luckily. But the circulation, again, very well defined here. There's your velocity signature. That means the winds are turning opposite directions, very, very close together, just between Dykes and Mount Victory, and off to the southwest of Goodwater. So those are some of the areas. So I'm gonna pop in a little bit closer, given the fact that we've got, confirmed tornado, probably on the ground. It's coming up on Mud Lick, and it looks like it's about to cross the county line here. I think there's the county line, actually. Yeah, because there's West Laurel Road here. Need a few cities just for reference. So here's Bald Rock. I think there's the river that separates Pulaski County and Laurel County. So looking over here, over toward High Top, there's Keavy. So we're getting closer to London here. So if you're in extreme eastern Pulaski County, it is right on top of you in Mount Victory. So you've got some time here. Let me pop back out just to give you an idea. So where you see the bright color here, just on the north side of Mount Victory, here's Somerset. This is eastern Pulaski County. Here's the border with Pulaski and Laurel County. We've got a confirmed tornado on the ground. It's done some damage. It's lofted some debris, and it's going to be moving into western Laurel County here within the next couple of minutes, just basically on the track that it's going. Even though the algorithm wants to push it off to the northeast, just based on the past radar track here, it looks like it may end up passing just to the south of London. So here's Interstate 75. There's Lilly, there's Keavy, there's Pine Grove. Those communities, a lot of folks are familiar with this. This is basically, it looks like it's going to pass between exit 38, which is the first exit when you're going northbound on I-75 there at London, and exit 29, which is the first one you get to the North Corbin exit. So it's going to be right in between there. And of course, those are some of the communities that will be impacted here. It's just on the north side of Laurel Lake. So there's Lilly, there's Keavy, there's Pine Grove, and here is the tornado, which is about to move out of Pulaski County and into the western part of Laurel County. So here's Laurel Lake. It looks like it's just going to clip the northern part of the lake. So I'll go in even closer here. Keavy, Bald Rock, what do we got here? High Top, all those areas. Here's the northern part of Laurel Lake. So if you're anywhere in that area, you've got West Laurel Road here. I mentioned High Top. Those are the areas where this confirmed tornado is heading and will be here in a few short minutes. Let me broaden back out here and kind of reset, as this is a really fluid situation. Our debris tracker here. 1 second.
We also have video. We are able to share.
Okay, go ahead and take that, Al, and I'll take them full.
This is video near Somerset very recently. You can see the tornado. Take that full screen there. Watch the lightning flashes. See that? Power flash right there for one, and then tornado right there.
There it is from Logan Paw, I believe it is.
Yes.
So, folks, this is a serious situation in southern Kentucky. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground that is doing damage. A very well-defined debris signature. We talk about it in meteorology a lot. This is a debris ball on the radar. This shows us that the tornado has touched down and it is lofting debris high up, and the beam, of course, is catching it, and it's blue compared to the red because it's an unusual shape. It's larger than what is surrounding it, meaning this is all rain, and the blue is debris that has been lofted, and of course our rotation detector is right on top of that, as it is right on top of Mount Victory. And you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and the video that Dylan just showed you was confirmation that this thing's the real deal, and it is on the ground in eastern Pulaski County, and it is making its way rapidly into the western part of Laurel County. So London, Pine Grove, especially Keavy and Lilly, this area between exit 38 and exit 29 along Interstate 75, with the movement of this, it looks like those are the areas that are going to be impacted by this within the next few minutes. I know our skit data has it going more off to the east and northeast, but I'm going to put a storm track on this going due east. And so it looks like High Top at 1140, Keavy at 1144, and Pine Grove at about 1149. So that gives you a good 25 minute lead time, especially where the confirmed tornado is located. So if you're anywhere in western Laurel County, off to the southwest of London, on the north side of Laurel Lake, if you're in High Top, if you're in Keavy, if you're in Lilly, if you're in Pine Grove, right there along Interstate 75, emphasizing, be in your safe place. This isn't radar indicated. This is a confirmed tornado. We have video of it. All of the boxes are checked relative to the radar data and the circulation, and we've got the debris ball indicating that debris has been lofted up into the atmosphere by the tornado. So this isn't one to mess around with. Again, bad timing. It's a nighttime event on a Friday night heading into the weekend. Some folks may be down here at Laurel Lake as well. We had the same problem back over at Lake Cumberland, but you definitely need to take action. Basement is best. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, lowest level of your home, preferably a closet or a bathroom. You want to stay away from exterior windows and walls. And if you live in a mobile home, hopefully you've got a sturdier structure that you can get to very, very quickly, especially over here toward Keavy and Lilly and on the south side of London, because the circulation here is about to cross out of Pulaski County and into Laurel County. The warning for Pulaski County goes until 11:45, but it is already well to the east of Somerset, so we can, I think, sound the all clear there. But not the case at all in Laurel County. The confirmed tornado warning, that goes until midnight. So just check the velocity data. We've still got a very, very tight bit of rotation there as it essentially crosses the county line here. It's just to the east of Mount Victory. I think Dylan's efforting some more information. And there you go with your debris ball. The deep blue there, again, it's our debris detector. Usually, if you just have plain old rain, it's picking up on the yellow and the orange. But when you get a drop in the values here and it goes darker, that means the radar's picking up on an uneven object, which generally means that's debris, trees, parts of homes, whatever that could be potentially picked up by the tornado, and it is being lofted. And so it's really a great, great tool to have to confirm that the tornado has touched down, it is doing damage, has done damage, and may continue to do that as it makes its way off to the east into the western part of Laurel County. Just looking at the velocity data, again, it's wrapped up within this rain here. We've got our shear marker that's done a great job of picking up on it. So this thing is just going to pass on the north side of Laurel Lake, and I'm really going to go in much, much closer here. So some of the areas, West Laurel Road, High Top, looks like Anders Road there, Also, let's see, is that Liar Creek or Light Creek Road?
It's maybe Line Creek.
Line Creek.
Yeah.
West Laurel Road, and now here's Laurel Lake, and then here's Keavy Road. There's Keavy, and the tornado is just off to your west. So again, be in your safe spot in western Laurel County. Bald Rock, it looks like it's just off to your north with the velocity data there. Let me push it out just a little bit here because, again, these things can have a tendency to kind of wobble a little bit as well. So that's why the confirmed tornado warning polygon is wide, even though it has been essentially moving pretty much due to the east. Anywhere within this polygon, if you're in the city of London, even though it looks like it may pass just to the south, because here's London right here, and here's the confirmed tornado, and it's going to head right toward I-75. If you're in the city of London, be in your safe place. Basement, don't have a basement. Interior room, lowest level of your home. Get away from exterior windows and walls. This is one of the reasons why on days like today and nights like tonight, we tell you in advance, try to set the table for you a day or two in advance to review your safety plan, because the dynamics, unfortunately, were set up for potential tornadoes, and for the first time in a while, we've actually had a legitimate touchdown. We've got video of it. We've got the debris signature on radar. We've got the velocity signature on radar. And so this thing has rolled across Pulaski County, south of Somerset, doing damage, and it is quickly working into western Laurel County now. And here is the marker, the gray marker. When it spins, that's the algorithm picking up on debris, indicating that you've had a touchdown, that debris has been lofted, and we've had this system about a year and a half, and I think this is the third time only that we've ever seen the gray rotation, and it's the second time tonight. So this clearly is a confirmed tornado. Let me show you the debris signature again.
Extremely prevalent on there. This is a large, potentially very violent tornado on the ground.
And the bigger the debris ball gets, the larger the tornado may be growing. It's kind of one of those cases where, you know, we always try to stay pretty even keel with, you know, talking about these severe weather events, but when you have to get serious, you have to get serious, and tonight is one of those nights. Down there in southern Kentucky, across western Laurel County, on the south side of London, but especially Pine Grove, Lilly, and Keavy, this literally could be a life-threatening situation because it's a confirmed tornado. We have video of it on the ground. Our gray rotating shear marker there indicating that debris has been detected by the algorithm, indicating a touchdown. And as Dylan said, it may be growing in size. This is a long-lived supercell that developed well back into western Kentucky, rolled through Bowling Green, Glasgow, over toward Columbia, Russell Springs, south of Somerset, and then here we are, front and center, just on the doorstep, London, but especially down toward Keavy, Lilly, and Pine Grove. Those are the areas that we're most concerned with right now, because here it is, and it's going to be heading your way here.
Debris ball is getting bigger
minutes.
on radar.
All right, so there's your signature, and just stretching it out here. I wouldn't even give yourself 15 minutes. That's probably a little bit too generous because with it being nighttime, it can pick up forward speed a little bit as well. So Pine Grove, Lilly, Keavy, front and center along Interstate 75. Unfortunately, anyone driving out there, hopefully they've got a phone and got the warning, and they could have pulled off on exit 29 down at Corbin or stopped short at exit 41 or exit 38 there in London, because this thing is going to cross Interstate 75 here probably within the next 10 minutes or so. So our debris detector, we look for the deeper blue and it being circular, and surrounded by orange and yellow. And when we see that, and we have our algorithm in gray, that means that there is debris detected, indicating a tornado has touched down. It's probably still on the ground, probably still doing damage, and it is working its way into the western part, across the western part of Laurel County.
With this approaching a populated, city like London, this may be upgraded even further, because it's, had consistent debris detected since it was south and west of Somerset. So it's been a long time that it's been producing debris.
And if it continues to do that, and as Dylan mentioned, as it approaches a more densely populated area, because even besides London, Keavy, Lilly, Pine Grove, yeah, they're smaller communities, but there's a good many folks across this part of Laurel County, especially between London and with Corbin, just right down on the Laurel, Knox and Whitley County line. So it's a confirmed tornado right now, but depending on whether it holds its strength and the additional reports that we get in, sometimes they can upgrade it to a tornado emergency if in fact it continues to strengthen and gets more intense as it works eastward. So you can kind of see the hook here. You've got the gray spinning marker indicating that there is debris and that the tornado has touched down, and it is rapidly working its way toward the I-75 corridor here. So I'm going to push in a little bit even closer. So Sublimity City, which is right out by London Corbin Airport, been out there for school visits as well. This thing is headed your way. So Sublimity City, Pine Grove, High Top, over toward Fairston, Lilly. It's going to be a close call for you. Out toward Brock, Lesbos, it looks like there. So just on the south side of London, based on where the radar signature is. And remember, these things can wobble, and it may not be just an exact thing. So let me go in just even closer. So West Laurel Road there. Mentioned Pine Grove a number of times, Keavy Road, Sublimity City, and then just kind of down the line a little bit here, looks like Philpott Road, which runs just parallel to Interstate 75. High Top, it's right on top of you right now, and again, Keavy Road kind of winds up. And let me extend it out a little bit here as the data updates. So there's London. There's your tornado on the ground. Let's see how the debris signature is looking. We've still got the debris ball right underneath the gray spinning marker, again indicating that we've got debris aloft from a tornado that is confirmed on the ground. So confirmed tornado warning for Laurel County until midnight. That's about another 25 minutes. But if you're here, again, in London along I-75, our shear rotation detector, note the strong rotation in here, just northwest of Keavy. It is literally making a beeline for Pine Grove, Lilly, and the south side of London. Exit 38 here, and then exit 41, that's the second one when you're going northbound on Interstate 75 here. So we got just a few minutes before this crosses the interstate. But Keavy Road here, which runs up to Pine Grove, is going to pass across Interstate 75, probably, just doing the math, probably around mile marker maybe 33, 34 here, in between London and Corbin. That's how it looks right now. So, Dylan?
Yeah, we've got significant damage. I don't have the video right now to share with you, but considerable damage. Somerset, Kentucky, South Highway 27 there near Somerset, south of Somerset, produced by that tornado there behind me. This is, again, another picture of the tornado, courtesy of Jaden Sanders, that is near Somerset, and working to get approval to use this video. But major damage south of Somerset, Kentucky South Highway 27. There are multiple buildings with significant damage.
All right, thanks, Dylan. Again, continuing to track this. Tonight, folks, this is a real deal in southern Kentucky. We've got a confirmed tornado warning for Laurel County, a confirmed tornado on the ground, and it has been on the ground for a while. The tornado warning first came out when it was west of Somerset, and then we started to pick up on some potential lofted debris, and we've had our rotating gray debris marker indicating that debris is being lofted. We still have our rotation detector still picking up on some strong rotation there. So you definitely need to be in your safe place anywhere from London down to Pine Grove to Lilly to Keavy. Now, Corbin, you're not in the tornado warning, but just to be on the safe side, one thing I'm noticing, the debris ball isn't as tight, it isn't as circular, it's a little more broad than it was the last couple of scans. That doesn't mean that it has gone away, but that's a trend that we're hoping for here, given the fact that this is a long track supercell thunderstorm that was producing possible tornadoes back around Bowling Green and Glasgow, kind of lost its energy a bit there, and then it really ramped up. Unfortunately, the environment just set up perfectly. This is the reason why the Storm Prediction Center put central and southern Kentucky, this part of the state, in that level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk, and we had a more elevated potential for a tornado, and unfortunately that has been realized. Now, looking at the velocity data here, it's tight, but it's not as tight as, meaning wrapped up, as it was a little while ago, and you may also have noticed that our gray debris marker has disappeared, and the drop in the CC, the correlation coefficient, the debris ball, is not as bright as it was. So that's a trend that's good, but still, Pine Grove, Lilly, south side of London, anywhere in the city of London, stay in your safe space, basement, lowest level of your home, preferably closet, bathroom. Get away from exterior windows and walls, and put a bicycle helmet on, baseball helmet on, protect yourself from the potential of flying debris. Many of the injuries that occur in tornadoes are due to head trauma as opposed to any kind of other injury. So you really need to protect your head in the event that this thing remains on the ground as it works its way across the south central part of Laurel County. It looks like that rotation is going to cross the interstate here anytime, very shortly. Anything else, Dylan?
Yeah, just working to get, the damage looks very significant. So we're thinking of you, Pulaski County for sure. And if you're in the path of this, please take this serious. This is a confirmed tornado, potentially very long track for what has it been, 45 minutes now at least, that this has potentially been on the ground.
At least, and this is the reason, folks, that on days and nights like today that we try to prepare you a day or two before. 9 times out of 10, nothing happens, or we get a little isolated spin up. It'll do a little damage in a small area, and then it will move along. But this is unfortunately what we have been concerned with all day long. The environment was ripe for a legitimate, possibly even long track tornado to develop someplace across the viewing area, and unfortunately that has been realized down here in southern Kentucky, especially in Pulaski County. As Dylan has alluded to, he's seen pictures of a good bit of damage, and of course our radar indicating some lofted debris. Here's Interstate 75, here's Pine Grove, here's London, there's Lilly, and where you see the shear marker and the red, that's some strong rotation on our rotation detector as this is just set to cross the I-75 corridor. So around South Laurel High School, Sublimity City, there's the runway for the London Corbin Airport. It looks like the tornado is going to pass right across the interstate, probably at about mile marker 35 to 36 there, just probably around Pine Grove northward, and then cross and go across, I believe that's 25 there, and pass South Laurel High School, and then eventually head over toward Brock. It is 11:41 Eastern Time. The confirmed tornado warning goes until midnight for Laurel County. And again, our gray rotation or debris detector has reemerged, indicating that it is still picking up on lofted debris from the tornado touchdown back in Pulaski County. And again, this thing is just on top of the interstate right now. Let me take a look at the debris tracker. It's the blue that you see right here. I'll put the telestrator on it. Right here, this is the lofted debris. This is the tornado that is probably still on the ground, and it is about to cross the I-75 corridor right around Pine Grove, over towards Sublimity City, the London Corbin Airport, south side of London, just south of exit 38. Again, tonight, it's the real deal. It's a serious situation. You need to be in your safe place. It's potentially a life-threatening situation across the south central part of Laurel County and then points eastward. So it looks like the debris ball with the updated radar data is about to cross Interstate 75 there, just south of London. I mentioned Sublimity City, and I'll take it back to the rotation detector. There's Sublimity City, right over South Laurel High School, and if you're watching, you can see just south of Sublimity City, that is the runway for the London Corbin Airport. So that confirmed tornado is crossing Interstate 75, right around mile marker 37, 36 probably, just south of the first exit. 38 as you're going, the first London exit as you're going northbound on Interstate 75. It's going to move over towards South Laurel High School, and now let's start looking down the line for some of the other communities that may be affected by this. We'll go in, zoom in a little closer. Barberville Road here. Looks like they're off of the first exit, exit 38. Again, there's a lot of residential and commercial real estate around this area. It's very heavily populated with homes, with stores. You know, if you've been off the exit there, Sublimity City, great elementary school there, been there many times doing school visits. And then farther to the east here, Laurel Road, looks like Comley Road as well. And then here is the Daniel Boone / Hal Rogers Parkway. So it does look like it may eventually sweep over toward the Parkway and out East Laurel Road. So I wanted to zoom in a little bit closer just to kind of give you an indication of where it is headed. So there's the Hal Rogers Parkway. It's on the south side of London. It has crossed Interstate 75. Looking at our velocity data, still a decent signature on radar here.
We don't have access to the camera, but there's a camera at London Corbin Airport, and every lightning flash you can still see lowering at least. You can't see if the funnel's hitting the ground, but you can see that there is at least lowering from the cloud, and the debris is still being shown on the radar.
Yeah, this is unfortunately, again, one of those nights that you hope that we don't have to have. We obviously try to give everybody a heads up about the possibility that we can have tornadoes, and luckily we rarely have a night like we have tonight, but this has been a long track supercell thunderstorm. Now the tornado has not been on the ground the entire time. It wasn't back into western Kentucky, but it dropped on the southwest side of Somerset and Pulaski County and started doing damage all the way across south central and southeastern Pulaski County, crossed into western, southwestern Laurel County, and it has just crossed the interstate, and it's probably right over the Sublimity City area there and the London Corbin Airport. and it's going to get just to the east of London. It's going to head out toward Bush Elementary. Been there for a school visit as well. Again, a lot of good area down here, great folks. Lily, it looks like it's going to pass just north of you. But anywhere east of London, if you're in London, hopefully you've been in your safe place. We've given you lots of lead time on this, a good 10, 15, 20 minutes in some cases. We've tried to call out some of the communities, but Bush Elementary out here just right along the Daniel Boone Parkway as this still confirmed tornado, and we haven't had any indication otherwise from the National Weather Service or from reports coming in that it is still not on the ground. We still have our rotation detector. It is still very, very strong, and that is right over the London Corbin Airport and Sublimity City there on the south side of London, roughly exit or mile marker 36, 37, and close to exit 38, which if you're going northbound on I-75, it's the very first London exit. If you're going southbound, of course, it's the second after exit 41. So hopefully folks have been hunkered down in this area. Not good to hear from Dylan that we've shown you video of the confirmed tornado on the ground back in Pulaski County. So unfortunately, I'm sure once we hit early tomorrow morning in the light of day, and we can get a better look at it.
The storm chaser that supplied the video, he's, storm chasers, when they enter an area with damage like that, they go to help, and that's when they stop their chase and they start. And that's what Billy Bowling, the storm chaser that's been all across, he had video of a tornado actually in Missouri, moving out of Missouri into southern Illinois earlier today. So he's now in the Somerset area, obviously helping out. So we're not going to pressure him to try to get access to that video, but that was significant damage south of Somerset.
Well, and again, our job is to continue to track this, to warn folks in the path of it. And I am going to pull out a little bit here and give you a little better bird's eye view of everything, because here is the confirmed tornado right where the shear marker is. And now the confirmed tornado warning has been extended, and it includes the northern part of Knox County and Clay County, and that goes until 12:30 a.m. So we've got a large area of southern Kentucky right along the Hal Rogers Parkway, London, and then over to Manchester now that you're under a confirmed tornado warning. Laurel County until the top of the hour for about another 12 minutes, although it looks like it may have slowed down a bit, and then Clay County until 12:30.
Check out that latest debris scan. You can see it behind me, right on top of Laurel Road, South Laurel High School. If you want to take that full screen, that is the tornado. Barberville Road, it's on you right now. Ferris Road, Laurel Road, the Brock area, Flatlick Road. If you're out ahead of where you see this blue, that's moving slowly. It's moving off to the north and the east. If you're out ahead of that, get into your safe location.
Dylan, explain to folks what they're seeing in the event that you're like, what is this blue mass that I've never seen before?
Yeah, so this is the radar picking up debris. Usually it's trying to find raindrops, and those are normal size things.
That's and that's what is red.
Yes, that's what is red, that's what is yellow, that's what is orange. But when you see that blue, particularly the dark blue, that is saying this is something not the size of raindrops. And when it lines up to where we are seeing velocity, which it does, right there over South Laurel Road, right where the shear's out ahead of it, but it just shows kind of what we're talking about. Right where you see the velocity signature, that shows and tells us that is debris, and it lines up perfectly there. So that is a tornado on the ground.
And that debris ball has been going for quite a while, and what's troublesome about that picture, what's troublesome period, is the fact that it's on the ground, but it looks like it's gone right over South Laurel High School as well. Yeah. And if we've got a debris ball, my concern is that there may be some damage at South Laurel High School in that area just off to the south of London. But I'm giving you the bigger view here because the confirmed tornado warning has now been extended farther east.
And there's a new tornado warning for Somerset.
So there's another tornado warning for Somerset here. So we're gonna go back real quick here and just show you very quickly. So here's another tornado warning, as Dylan mentioned, where you see the circulation shear marker, it's right over the city of Somerset. That's radar indicated. That's why we have the red polygon. But as we pull back out and then go back over to the east, this is the one that we're staying with. And just even looking at the reflectivity on the radar, this is a classic signature of a hook echo on radar that indicates you've got the tornado on the ground. Let me use the telestrator here. You got a little inflow notch right here, and this is where the tornado is, and it is working eastward. It's heading out here toward Bush Elementary. Here's the Hal Rogers Parkway. So if you're in that area, if you're on the east side of London, especially if you're southeast of London, if you're out east in eastern Laurel County, western parts of Clay County, along the Hal Rogers Parkway, this confirmed tornado is heading your way. That's the radar data. The velocity data, the red and the green, side by side. That shows us what the winds are doing relative to the radar site. Anything in green is going toward the radar, which is over here in London. Anything in red is going away. So you get that right there. That's another indication. That's number two. Then the next one is our rotation detector. Look at the red there. That's in the strong category. So there's very strong rotation. And then lastly, and most importantly, above and beyond the confirmation that we've had on the ground via reports of damage and the video that we had early, is the debris ball. Which
and that's the best it's looked.
Yeah,
it still looks.
This is the best that it's looked, meaning it's lightening up. It's not that deep, deep blue. And usually when it starts to lighten up, that means that debris may be beginning to break apart. It's not as concentrated rotating around the tornado. And so the radar obviously is able to pick up on more of the rain and those objects, unusual objects that vary in size, aren't packed as tightly together as they were when they were back here south of London, and of course moving across western Laurel County and the southern part of Pulaski County. So those are our indicators that in addition to just getting the confirmation.
Yeah, and I believe our tower just got struck by lightning. So if we have a
I
little
was gonna
slowdown,
say.
so we're kind of flickering on the TV there. We may have taken a power hit.
Yeah, because I wondered what what that bang was. So,
yes.
And we're concentrating on this confirmed tornado. There's obviously a lot of other weather going on across central and eastern Kentucky. I'm gonna go wide here briefly because I know we've had a lot of heavy rain here in Lexington. We're basically in the clear. There's a number of severe thunderstorm warnings from Richmond, Berea, down toward Campbellsville. We got the new tornado warning, the second one for Somerset. But of course, the area of concern is the blinking purple polygon, and that is for a confirmed tornado, which again, we have been tracking for you for over an hour now. I think we came on the air, no, it's almost 2 hours now. We came on the air right at 10 o'clock Eastern when we had the initial tornado warning, ironically for Bath County, Owensville, up toward Moorhead, and then we were visiting this long track supercell thunderstorm that had occasionally been dropping a tornado all the way back, I think, into southeast Missouri, hopped into western Kentucky, prompted tornado warning after tornado warning all up and down the Cumberland Parkway from Bowling Green to Columbia to Somerset. And then this is where we have arrived 2 hours later with a confirmed tornado off to the east-southeast of London, just south of the Hal Rogers Parkway. So the confirmed tornado warning for Laurel County, that goes for about another 6 minutes, but I'm not entirely sure that it's going to get out of Laurel County in that time. But if you're in the Lebus area, if you're in Brock, hopefully you're in your safe place. Lida, Marydell, Lake, I mentioned Bush, out where Bush Elementary is, just out the Hal Rogers Parkway. We'll go in a little closer here. Brock, Lesbos, East Laurel Road, which takes you out here. Looks like Marydell Road. There's Marydell. Here's the Hal Rogers Parkway. This is coming your way in the eastern part of Laurel County. Be in your safe place. Basement is best. If you don't have a basement, lowest level of your home, go down, not up. You want to keep yourself away from exterior windows and walls. And again, we give you these safety tips over and over and over again just to remind you, but in this particular case, this is the real deal because this is a confirmed tornado that has done damage, and from all indications, it is still on the ground just off to the east-southeast and now more to the east of London in Laurel County, and it's about to cross out of Laurel County into Clay County here, which is why they've extended the confirmed tornado warning eastward for Clay County until 12:30. So
and we just this is just a possible funnel cloud just reported recently near Ferguson, south of Somerset. So that's a new tornado.
That's for the other new tornado warning. So
not a confirmed.
Ferguson actually was one of the areas that this tornado that is now in eastern Laurel County got very, very close to. So just the cruel reality, kind of a 1-2 punch in that regard. Let's take a look at, again, our rotation detector, and it is definitely holding its own here. So Lida, Marydale, it is right over the Hal Rogers Parkway now, just in between Brock and Marydale. So those areas, Hooker, Pigeon Roost, again, Bush Elementary, which I think is very, very close to the county line. They're getting into Clay County because here's Manchester. It looks like on its current path, it may stay just to the south of Manchester there in Clay County. But anywhere in western Clay County or far eastern Laurel County, you got to be in your safe spot right now because this is still a confirmed tornado warning. Looking at our debris signature, it is still there. Yeah, we've got our rotation detector, but what we're looking for is this blue right here next to the red and orange, and that shows us that there is, I guess, unusually shaped objects that is not rain that's been lofted, but it just updated, and notice how it's gone away. So that, of course, is a good sign. And let's see how the rotation is. Now, the rotation detector is still indicating some strong rotation. Doesn't mean it's necessarily on the ground. Hopefully it's lifting, because you got to remember the radar is at the ground, the beam's aloft. Now it's getting closer to the radar, which is up in Jackson, so it's not shooting as high in the storm as it was before. So it may be getting a little better bead on it. But here's kind of the bigger picture, putting the radar data back on it. London proper, if you're in the city of London, can sound the all clear for you now with this particular cell, but there is the one back in Pulaski County, which still has prompted a tornado warning. And oh wow, it looks like there's you know, a little bit of a notch here, but where the now, what am I saying? I'm getting punchy here. The shear marker.
Yeah.
That's it. Where that is showing up, you got a little bit of rotation here. And again, Ferguson is just south of Somerset.
Storm relative velocity. You can get a good look at that. There is some of that north and east of route. So this is
here you
taking
go, right
the same. I mean, these are people that there's a significant damage there. And these people may be, trying to recover right now, and another tornado is a potential tornado is impacting them. So this is a serious deal. We don't have a confirmation with this tornado, but the radar this is at least producing wind damage.
Yeah, so let me kind of zoom in on this one, and boy, talk about deja vu here. This area right here, Ruth, Shopville, there's Mount Victory. I mean, literally within probably a mile or so of where the confirmed tornado just moved through, you've got some additional rotation there in the eastern part of Pulaski County, where there is a tornado warning until 12:15. That is a radar indicated tornado warning, not a confirmed tornado warning, which is what we have where our shear marker is here across extreme eastern Laurel County and about to move into Clay County here.
And this happened in Paducah earlier today. You had two supercells potentially producing tornadoes, kind of one right after another. And former National Weather Service meteorologist John Gordon at our sister station there in Louisville, WHAS, mentioned this earlier, that sometimes these storms just follow over the same path, and that is what's happening. So if you want to take those storm winds full screen here, while we give TG a little bit of a break, if we are seeing another tornado with this, that's north and east of Ruth, traveling off towards the east-northeast, so it's south of Kentucky 80. It would eventually approach the Laurel, Pulaski County line there. It's a little bit more jagged. It's not as well defined as earlier, but still it is definitely noticeable.
Yeah, it's definitely showing some signs of rotation. All right, let's get back to the storm front and center, the one that we have been tracking again for literally a couple of hours, because it was only maybe 10-15 minutes into the coverage after 10 o'clock that we started concentrating on this long-lived supercell that has literally moved across the entire southern part of the Commonwealth, right down the Cumberland Parkway, Kentucky 80 corridor, and now is rolling down the Howell Rogers Parkway. On the reflectivity, you can see that notch, that bit of a hook here, just to the west of Bush, where Bush Elementary is. We've got our shear marker. We continue to have the velocity data, the reds and the greens, right beside each other. Our rotation detector still showing some strong rotation. As far as the debris detector, the debris ball is a lot lighter than it was before. You can have the rotation, and you see the shear markers right over top of where the debris ball. Notice how it's green instead of blue. And then you look at the shear detector here, the rotation detector, and you still see some strong rotation. It may mean that it's lifted and we're getting that rotation aloft as opposed to on the ground. Doesn't mean that we're dealing with the all clear by any means. So Manchester and Clay County, Bush there, and some of the other communities, again, that are going to see this storm pass right over top. It looks like Hooker right there along the Howell Rogers Parkway, Pigeon Roost, which is just off to the southwest of Manchester. Of course, there's the Howell Rogers Parkway. You get off the exit there. You drive north to get into downtown Manchester. You see where the rotation is coming out of Laurel County and into Clay County. So again, we've got to stay with this, given the fact that this has produced a confirmed tornado with damage back in Pulaski County. Have we heard anything from the Weather Service at all?
No confirmed updates from the National Weather Service. They are obviously working very hard trying to get some reports in from people. They just mentioned just trim the Laurel County tornado to clean up areas that are threatened. Yeah, that's you're seeing that on the screen right now. But it is still a considerable threat with that due to 2-inch size hail as well with that tornado warning.
Yeah, and that's the other part of it. In addition to the possible tornado here, the confirmed tornado warning, this thing's been cranking out some large hail, upwards of even golf ball sized, as it moves eastward here. So I can tell you we can sound the temporarily all clear relative to the confirmed tornado for London, for Pine Grove, for Lilly, and Keavy, but we've got that next cluster with the possible tornado, at least radar indicated, that may work into Laurel County. But you got heavy rain, and again, on the north side of these supercells, so between Burning Springs and Manchester, right there along US 421, across the north central part of Clay County, you're probably seeing some larger hail there. Our SCIT data, which of course, it's the storm identifier and tracker, it's the algorithm's trying to point it off to the northeast when in reality the actual cell has been moving due east for quite a period of time. But anywhere in the blinking purple box here, and the reason that it's blinking purple instead of a red polygon is when the tornado is confirmed, which it was all the way back in Pulaski County, across Laurel County, and there's still a confirmed tornado warning for Clay County for about another 25 minutes. That's when it is purple. So it should be about right on top of the Bush community and where Bush Elementary is there. I think that's just right around the county line. Hard to see with all the data on there, but I know it's just right there in between Manchester and London. And then here's your cell with the possible rotation just along Kentucky 80, probably right around Shopville. So again, kind of a 1-2 punch. Areas farther north, you're just dealing with heavy rain, some very, very gusty winds. Corbin, Barberville, Pineville, you're good for now, but it's just this corridor. And if you were watching earlier on Friday evening, we mentioned during the 5:30, 6 o'clock newscast that you needed to stay weather aware and stay alert through Friday evening. It's always a bad time when you have a nighttime tornado potential in the spring heading into a weekend, a spring weekend at that, when a lot of folks check out, they got stuff going on and may not be paying as much attention as you typically would. And unfortunately, what's happened tonight is what we had kind of feared, and that's the reason that the Storm Prediction Center had a good chunk of the area in that level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk with an elevated tornado risk, including this area of southern Kentucky that has seen the confirmed tornadoes. Somerset and over toward London was in that. You always cross your fingers on nights like tonight, hoping that this doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen often. Normally we get these isolated spin-up tornadoes within a squall line of storms, but on the rare occasion like tonight, when the environment is right, and it was, the Storm Prediction Center, I think about maybe 7, 8 o'clock this evening, probably around 7:15, they put out a discussion saying central and eastern Kentucky was primed for the potential of some tornadoes, and strong tornadoes at that. It was obviously impossible to determine exactly where that would occur, and the initial backs that moved through Lexington earlier in the evening, we had severe thunderstorm warnings, and then we had the initial tornado warning up into Bath and Rowan counties. But it's this long track supercell. Tornado hadn't been on the ground the whole time, but it sure has over the last hour or so. And
extended that tornado warning behind it. Now, London, you're under a tornado warning. Again, get back into your safe location if you are in London or Laurel County, central Laurel County.
All right, so I'm gonna broaden this out here, and we'll kind of look at both of them at once. So we've got two different cells that we're dealing with, and the issue is the same area that just had damage across eastern Pulaski County and into western Laurel County. You are now under a tornado warning again. So looking at the velocity data here, so here's our cell just southwest of Manchester, still a confirmed tornado warning until the bottom of the hour, and then our new tornado warning goes for eastern Pulaski and into western and central Laurel County, and that warning goes until 1 a.m. So London, Pine Grove, Keavy, Lilly, back toward Mount Victory, all those areas. I know it's hard to comprehend because some of those unfortunately have received damage from the initial tornado, the fact that you're going to have to go to your safe spot again, but that's what you definitely need to do. So we got the confirmed tornado with the blinking purple, severe thunderstorm warnings back towards Somerset. We've got the radar indicated tornado in red and the blinking green That's flash flood warnings. You got to remember this area received a lot of heavy rain with that morning round on Friday. It dumped a good 1 to 2 inches, and with what is coming down now, in addition to, of course, the rotation, look at the heavy amounts of rain north side of Manchester, and of course off to the, just right along Kentucky 80, in fact, just running right along the county line to the west side of London. I think we got some decent hail there, probably looks like just west of London, right along the county line there. So again, just an incredible night, and come the light of day tomorrow morning, just based on what Dylan has seen and some of the video that we saw earlier, highly suspect that we're going to have some cleanup to do down across southern Kentucky.
No real updates, but you know, downstream again from this, Russell County's got another tornado warning. They're just to the south and the west of Somerset. So Somerset, you're not under a tornado warning right now, but still you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, and there are still strong storms to your west. We talked about this earlier in the day, TG, that this the first wave that moved through far southern Kentucky really didn't see anything south of Somerset. There's still a lot of storm energy. There was still a lot of storm energy south of there. Though Monticello, for example, never got out of the upper 70s temperature-wise. That means there was still a lot of energy. The southerly winds south of these storms didn't see any rain and cooled air before that. So these storms are, again, warm air is getting right into these storms that wasn't impacted by the morning round of storms as much as we were here.
Well, and obviously when we lead up to events like this, and Dylan and I were discussing the entire setup earlier today, and after we had that morning round go through, we agreed that the areas that had not been worked over by the morning round, southeast Missouri, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and far southern Kentucky were probably going to be the areas that ended up having the highest probability of some legitimate tornadoes and damaging tornadoes at that. And unfortunately, that has come to pass. It's just the setup that we had today. And luckily, this doesn't happen very often at all, but it is May and it is springtime in Kentucky. And unfortunately, with an optimal setup, even though it's a night event, we've seen what we always fear realized with a confirmed tornado having done some damage back in Pulaski, probably Laurel County, and we still, again, for about another 15 minutes, this thing's coming up just south of Manchester. Our shear marker has been sustained and been there for the last couple of hours. So this cell has literally made its way almost across the entire southern part of the Commonwealth, from way out in western Kentucky all the way into the southeastern mountains. And that's what you generally get with setups just like tonight. So looking at the shear here, the rotation right there between Hema and we call it Garrett. It's probably Garrard there, Blue Hole as well.
They just went radar confirmed with the Somerset tornado, getting ready to move into Laurel County.
All right,
excuse me, Pulaski County, getting ready to move into Laurel County.
So we've got another confirmed tornado warning. So we have 2 ongoing here. Pretty unbelievable, and luckily pretty rare. We don't see this very often, but just the fact that 2 in a row here. This one that is back, let's see, I'm assuming it's down here just to the north of Mount Victory. Even though our shear marker isn't picking up on it, looks like, let's see if our rotation detector, right here to the north of Mount Victory. This is another confirmed tornado warning, and this is for Laurel County until 1 a.m., and it is for Pulaski County until 1 a.m., although this thing, here's the county line right here. The rotation is just right there, essentially, you know, in the same area that we had just a little while ago. So let me push this over just a bit, and then we'll zoom in just ever so close. It's just unbelievable, almost
Yeah.
speechless.
Yeah,
that the
this is-
same area. I mean, Goodwater, Mount Victory, Dykes, High Top over here. Here's the county line. There's Pulaski County. Here's Laurel County. Again, confirmed tornado right over Goodwater, about to head into the western part of Laurel County. So folks there in western Laurel County, you know the drill. Same areas. Okay, here we go. So there's your rotation, and here's Interstate 75. There's Pine Grove, there's London, Sublimity City, the London Corbin Airport. So it's literally almost like railroad cars on a train track, one right after the other. Put the radar data on because that'll give you a little, it's obviously.
Yeah, they said one scan had a CC drop that debris detected by the radar. That's why it is confirmed.
Well, we're going to do that right now, as a matter of fact. Al, if you can take me back full, we'll take a look at the debris, and it's got to be in this, it's got to be in this area right here. And, you know, kudos to the Weather Service in Jackson for trying to get ahead of this, especially with, again, the environment that we have been dealing with tonight. This would be the area that it would be in because it pretty much matches up with kind of where the rotation is, although it seems very, very broad. But make no mistake about it. Somerset, you got a storm in your area, but you're good. It's really folks over here in Laurel County. It's actually north of Lilly and Keebe. So you're not in the confirmed tornado warning box this go around, which of course is good news for you. What's not so good news is the fact that we've got torrential rain, which may cause some flooding. London, up the interstate to Wood Creek Lake, out toward Billows, where you see the pink, probably some larger hail as well. And then we're still tracking this long track supercell thunderstorm just on the reflectivity itself. Still showing that bit of a notch right here in the reflectivity. Looking at the shear, we still got some strong shear. It's off to the southeast of Manchester. It looks like I can't tell. I think it's US 421 up toward Bear Branch.
It is US
My vision's good, but those icons are awfully small. Spring Creek, Bear Branch, which is along the Hal Rogers Parkway, and then you get over toward Leslie County. If this holds together, Hyden right here to the right, at its current track, of course, that would have it passing through the central part of Leslie County, but it's off to the southeast of London right now here.
Working to get confirmation, but we may have new video of this second storm. I'm trying to get better clarity when it was exactly taken. That's becoming an issue now because the same area is getting hit by another storm.
I'm going to step off for a minute here. I may be locking up.
So I'm going to go back here. This was earlier. This is not current. I'm going to take you back to radar now. So this is what we're looking at. This is the debris. It's not as prevalent as it once was earlier, but looking at the radar signatures, there's that notch there, south and east of Billows. There's another notch there, south and east of Manchester. So, and they just extended this confirmed tornado warning for now Leslie County. For Perry County, that does include
City of Hazard.
Yeah, it includes Hazard there in Perry County.
All right, I'm going to have to get reset here.
Well,
I think I think the hand tracker.
So we're going to stay with this view currently.
Yeah, just stick with Dylan here for a second.
So a new confirmed tornado warning for areas that have not had tornado warnings. That is for Clay County. This is through 1 a.m. It is currently 12:18, as you can see on the top of your screen. If you are in Hyden, Hazard, there into Perry County. If you are in Knott County, western Knott County, that does not include eastern Knott County. That's western, southwestern Knott County, extreme southwestern Knott County. That is through 1 a.m. Hal Rogers Parkway, all the way through Clay County, into Leslie County, and into Perry County. If you live along the Hal Rogers Parkway, you need to be entering your safe location right now. That is the most interior room within your home, away from doors and windows. This is some examples. So unsafe. If you're well out ahead of this storm and you're in a mobile or manufactured home, you need, if you are, say, in Perry County near Hazard, try to find a loved one's house that you can get to. Get out of wide open rooms. Get out of the living room next to the giant windows. Get into an interior closet or an interior room of a well-constructed home or building. If you are in, say, a higher-rise building, get to the lowest level of that. If you have a basement at your home, that is the best place to be. And not a lot of people here have tornado storm shelters, but the basement, interior closet, the best place to be here. So those are your tornado safety and shelter options. If you just had that tornado warning go off on your phone, that is a confirmed tornado warning. And
Boy,
that's radar confirmed.
What a night.
Yeah.
It continues. Again, we had to reset our hand tracker, took a little power hit, and it kind of glitched there temporarily. So here is, again, our long track cell. And Dylan, if you can pull up one of the regional radars, maybe, and go back like 6 hours just to see how
it'll
long
take
that
me a
cell.
second. So stay with TG, and I'll get that.
When he's ready to go, he'll let me know. But let's get back to taking a look at this. That, again, continues. Confirmed tornado warnings here. I'll branch this out. Anything that is blinking purple, and that is a big, big chunk of real estate. I mean, look at this, folks. Unbelievable. I'll take the, let me take the radar data off. Okay, taking everything off. Any purple flashing area from eastern Pulaski County through central Laurel, through Clay, Leslie, and over to Perry County, including Hazard, those are all for confirmed tornado warnings. Again, very, very unusual, very, very rare, but these cells are just lined up.
And that's with a flash flood warning.
And there's a flash flood warning as well. There's got to be a bit of a boundary there that clearly these storms are just firing on and following because they're just going down the exact same track. This is the one that's front and center. This is the one that was confirmed that did damage back in Pulaski County, rolled into Laurel County, and has now worked just to the southeast of Manchester here. And looking at the rotation, and you can still see it. It's still got some pretty healthy rotation. So there's Manchester. Here's the Hal Rogers Parkway. Bear Branch, Spring Creek, probably going to pass right between you. Going in a little bit closer, Peabody, Markham, those areas. The rotation is just to your west. It's right along US 421 here. You need to be in your safe shelter, as Dylan was giving you those safety tips. I know you hear them 100 times over and over again. It's repetition and repeating.
Yes, and those areas haven't had tornado warnings in a while. It's been quite some time. So you need to review those those options for sure.
Can we pop back to me, or do we have an issue?
May have an issue, but behind me is the regional radar that we do have. I'm going to zoom in on the current since we are on me at the moment. Let's go to this. Maybe not let me click on it. So let's switch here to reflectivity. Sorry for this. We are looking now at the confirmed tornado. You can kind of see it behind me. This is for the current storm is in Clay City. It is in Manchester. Getting ready to move out of Clay County into Leslie County. The notch there that you see south and east of Manchester, you can kind of see it in the behind me. This is where we would have a tornado with this, and it is again radar indicated. I'm going to switch to show you the debris with this. You can still see there's a little bit of a notch right there where we could be potentially seeing some debris with this.
I'm assuming camera 3 is dead. No, it's not. There we go. We're back.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll continue to keep tracking here. I know it has definitely been a long couple of hours, and unfortunately, we are not done. So, I was mentioning Bear Branch, Spring Creek. There's your rotation as far as debris. Dylan, again, was showing you that a minute ago. Doesn't seem to be a big drop like there was. If you've been with us the last couple of hours, that was that very well-defined blue debris ball indicating that the debris had been lofted when it was back across eastern Pulaski County and into Laurel County. We don't have that now. It's probably a case where the radar may be picking up on the rotation aloft, but obviously information confirmed with the Weather Service in Jackson to continue the confirmed tornado warning stretching all the way not only into Leslie County, including Hyden. Asher's not in it because it looks like it's going to pass just off to your north. But of course, you go farther to the east and eventually you're going to get over toward Hazard. I think based on the track right now, again, this thing has a tendency to wobble. It is apt to be down toward Cornettsville, Viper, maybe eventually over toward Vico, but that even could be stretching it a little bit because there's Hyden. There's a rotation, and at this point, it looks like it's probably going to stay.
It looks like it's still on the ground.
south.
Latest debris signature to me shows south of Peabody, closing in on South Highway 66 near the Markham area, Arnett's Fork Road. These are some of the examples of some of these smaller areas south of Peabody. Big Double Creek Road, you're in the path of this storm. Markham, you are in the path of this storm. Sugar Creek Road, you are in the path of this storm as well.
Yeah, there's that little drop. You can definitely definitely see it.
This right there.
Yep. There it is right here. And again, the shear marker has done a really good job. So Peabody, Markham, Creekville. Here's the confirmed tornado that is in Clay County and about to move into western Leslie County here pretty shortly.
And they are issuing another tornado warning for Somerset. So that is now the third tornado warning for Somerset.
Well, unfortunately, it's a kind of trifecta that you do not want to hit, but it appears that that has been the case. Still concentrating on this lead cell here. And unfortunately, folks, it's one of these deals where when you've got multiple tornado warnings and multiple confirmed tornado warnings, you kind of have to prioritize, and based on the history of this particular cell, we still got to hang with this one for a minute, and then I'll go back and take a look at the other.
If you're in southern Pulaski County, get in to your storm safe location.
Yeah, so south of Hyden, north of Asher, that's where this is tracking, and that's across Leslie County, and then eventually it's going to work, it looks like, over toward, I'd say, Cornettsville and Viper, probably staying off to the south of Hazard. So, all right, let's go back to the west. There's Manchester, there's London, and let me put the shear on here. And so you got a little bit of rotation in the London area where that tornado warning is, and as Dylan mentioned, they just put another one up for Somerset. Is this the latest one?
The red,
in the red?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. So clearly there's a little bit of rotation here, probably off to the southwest of Nancy. Yeah, it's in this general area here as far as the shear goes. There's not a whole lot, so it's not very well defined like it was a little while ago with the confirmed tornado. This is radar indicated. So around Lake Cumberland, Jamestown, Nancy, Somerset, down to Birdside, Bronson, Mill Springs, over to Ruth. I know we've called out Ruth a number of times. You're under a tornado warning. That one goes until 1 a.m. Most of these go until 1 a.m., I believe. And again, the confirmed tornado warning there, 1 a.m. for Clay County as well. I think we got flash flood warnings going. So really a lot happening here this evening. So let me pull things back out here. Once we get rid of this last batch here that's coming through Monticello and what's coming up on Somerset, we're good here in central Kentucky. Lexington, we're done. Nicholsville, Harrodsburg, Danville, Lebanon, Campbellsville, you can basically sound the all clear. That's going to be it. but it's this area of southern and southeastern Kentucky. Once this thing gets hopefully over toward Hazard, maybe down toward Harlan and Whitesburg, and gets into the mountains a little bit, that may hopefully help us out in some capacity. We'll take what we can get. But you see everything lined up. Again, it's just literally, and we talked about it earlier, right along the Hal Rogers Parkway and Kentucky 80 corridor. Again, a lot of the higher resolution data earlier on Friday was indicating that this could essentially be the favored area. It was showing some supercell development, albeit a little bit earlier in the day, earlier on Friday evening, but inevitably that's how things have kind of come to pass here. So pretty unbelievable. So our lead cell, again, still showing signs of rotation, still got the confirmed tornado warning, and actually our skit data is lined up pretty decent as far as the movement for a change. Hasn't been that way a lot. Still got a lot of shear across the gate over 100 miles per hour. 80% chance of severe hail up to about 1.5 inches, which is roughly ping pong ball size, maybe a little bit smaller than that. The BTI is a 7.6. The scale is 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. So some of the areas here, again, Peabody, we mentioned that, coming up here in just a few minutes. Markham, it's on your doorstep. Again, the shear marker as opposed to the severe marker went away, which is why everything disappeared, but you get the gist of it. Heavy rain there in Thousand Sticks. Hyden, right along the Hal Rogers Parkway, rain beginning to pick up in Hazard. I'm sure, you know, your phones are going off, sirens are going off, because again, these are all confirmed tornado warnings that are blinking in purple. And then you get back here, Manchester, Burning Springs, a little bit of a break. This little section here that's coming up right along the interstate there, just northwest of London, Wood Creek Lake, a lot of pink in there. Probably some decent hail. Yeah, you can see these things have had a history of producing a good bit of hail. As far as the shear, nothing's really jumping out except for the lead cell that is back to the east, over moving into parts of western Leslie County. I don't like the sight of that at all. So if you can take Dylan, and then take his video
some of that
full.
Damage. We now have credit to use it. Billy Bowling. This is south and east of Somerset. Extensive damage there done to these communities. This is the side of that building ripped off. This is a large. This was a large, powerful, at least EF2, EF3 type of tornado. And again, that's credit to Billy Bowling. This is from the first. Storm that went through, and this is live. Somerset currently dealing with another tornado warned storm moving through.
So that's a live cam in downtown Somerset.
Yes.
So again, folks, this is one of these nights when we say, hey, there's a confirmed tornado on the ground and everything on radar is showing us that, yeah, it's really happening. The last thing you want to see is that kind of damage, and hopefully the injuries are minimal and there aren't any fatalities, but this definitely is going to be one of the more damaging tornadoes that we have had here in our viewing area in quite some time. And hopefully folks were able to heed the warning as we gave plenty of lead time relative to what happened there just on the south side of Somerset. Instantly, when it became confirmed, we got pretty serious with what was going on. So it's tough to see, and I know we'll see more of it heading into tomorrow. But unfortunately, to add insult to injury here, we still have the confirmed tornado warning into eastern Pulaski County, and just a regular radar indicated tornado warning for Somerset. That is until 1 a.m. But more importantly, look at all the heavy rain. And of course, you've had significant damage, it appears, there on the south side of Somerset. And if you were watching earlier, we had video of that tornado on the ground. I mean, just unbelievable. And, you know, obviously the damage pretty much confirms what we had feared. And you can kind of see these things just lined up one right after the other. I know folks in Corbin, Barberville, Pineville, over toward Harlan, down toward Williamsburg, wondering what the inevitable outcome will be. The hope is that we see some weakening of these storms. But again, right along the Hal Rogers Parkway, the issue is, Dylan was explaining earlier, this area, yeah, it had a little bit of activity earlier, but it spent a lot of the day with all that warm, moist air being pumped in. And then we get after dark, and the low-level jet, which is several thousand feet up, it increases in speed during the overnight, and it's a great transporter of warmth and moisture, so it helps fuel and feed these storms and keeps them going and sustained. And unfortunately, that's what's happened, because we got them lined up one right after the other, and that's why we have the multiple blinking purple polygons, which again are all confirmed tornado warnings, 1 and then 2, and then a radar indicated back here towards Somerset, which again we just showed you has had significant damage. And my hope is around the London area, hopefully we can check in with them. I know Dylan's feverishly looking at social media, trying to see if he can find anything out of the London area at all. We know for sure, of course.
We last check, there was 100,000 customers without power across all of Kentucky. That does include parts of Pulaski and Laurel County. But just to put it in perspective, it's a statewide storm for sure. But these have been, in Kentucky at least, TG, would you say that potentially the strongest tornado of this whole batch, potentially?
Yeah, it's definitely been, I think, the strongest one, at least in the Lexington television market, probably since March 2nd, 2012, unless, you know, we go back and look and there was another. I mean, I've been doing this a hot second around here, and we've had plenty of nights where we've had close calls or just minimal damage, but this is one of these memorable nights, unfortunately, where we've had a destructive tornado go across southern Kentucky there in Somerset, and the parent storm, believe it or not, is still holding its own as it has now crossed into Leslie County, and that circulation is in between Bear Branch and Spring Creek. It's raining very heavily right along the Hal Rogers Parkway, Thousand Sticks over to Hyden and up toward Wooten. And the parkway, of course, stretches up north of Hyden. So it curves around and, of course, ends there at Hazard. And then Kentucky 80 extends on eastward toward Hyden, or Hindman, excuse me. So looking at the general rotation, you see it is still on the strong side. As far as the debris is concerned, not seeing a huge spike. There may be a little bit there where the shear marker is just west of Leslie County High School and Hyden, because it kind of matches up where we've got the strong rotation there along 421. Again, that's down into Leslie County. Here's Hyden, just to the southwest. There's Leslie County High School. There's Wendover. So any of these areas, so if you're Hyden and points to the south, you definitely need to be in your safe shelter between Stinnett and Hyden, right there. Leslie County High School, if you're in that area, down toward Wendover, over toward Smilex, Cinda, that cell is going to be heading your direction. Again, velocity data, the reds and the reds and the greens side by side, and still showing a fairly tight rotation there. Also concerned about the heavy rain, which could create some flooding issues. We got some flash flood warnings out there, and the hail as well. I'm going to go a little bit closer here. So it looks like Lee County Road. I mentioned Wendover. Meadow Lane, Short Creek Road, those are all in Leslie County. And that, again, confirmed tornadic supercell thunderstorm. Looks like it is going to pass just to the south of Hyden. Again, torrential rain on up the Hal Rogers Parkway up toward Hazard. Now, if you're in Hazard, still want to be in your safe spot. Better safe than sorry, but you're just in the heavy rain. You got some wind, maybe a little bit of hail, but it's this notch down here that is well to your southwest, and it is moving due to the east. If anything, again, it's going to impact more of southern Perry County, out 15, maybe toward Vico, down toward Viper, toward Cornetsville as well. And then we go back to the west. Oneida there, Oneida Baptist, off to the northeast in Clay County there, Burning Springs. You got torrential rain, Annville and Jackson County. And then, of course, still concerned with this cell that's on the east side of London. Again, even though we've got these confirmed tornado warnings, just looking at the data, they're not the rotation detector. Notice how it's very moderate. It's not very well defined like that lead supercell was. And at least good news, it looks like the tornado warning that was in effect for Somerset, the radar indicated, has been allowed to expire. They canceled it early. So that's definitely good news, but you still got, again, just torrential rain in the area clearly where the tornado touched down, which I think is going to be from Nancy, probably around Southwestern High School, Ferguson, down US 27, heading down toward Burnside. It appears that it's going to be the south side of Somerset that caught the brunt of it, because that's where we had that debris ball. And then, of course, over toward Ruth, Mount Victory. Those are some obviously rural areas out into eastern Pulaski County. But I got a sneaky suspicion that, when all's said and done,
they did just expire. They canceled the Wayne County, Pulaski County tornado warning, so the unconfirmed tornado warning.
Yeah, I was just mentioning that. I noticed that the red polygon had disappeared. So right now, again, you've still got the confirmed tornado warnings from Manchester and London. Just stay put, be in your safe spot. 12:45 in the morning on Saturday. Folks are home anyway. Just better to hunker down in your safe spot. Better safe than sorry until this mess gets through here. Looks like farther to the south, it is still dry in Williamsburg. Whitley City, I think this here will be more of a damaging wind threat. You got severe thunderstorm warnings from McCreary and into northern Whitley County. That goes until 1 a.m. I'm sure that will be extended off to the east. Rockhold, it looks like Corbin. You're finally going to get into some heavy rain. Laurel Lake, you just managed to avoid, again, that supercell. Bush may get another round of heavy rain, and just not a fun drive along the Hal Rogers Parkway from London to Manchester, probably just blinding rain, and then that continues over to Hyden, and then here we end up again with the strongest cell. That's the parent main supercell thunderstorm that literally developed, what, Dylan? Hours ago,
yeah,
5, 6?
Yeah, oh yeah, for
something
sure.
like that.
I did just want to say, I don't have permission to use it yet, but at London Corbin Airport, there looks to be significant damage that the medevac helicopter looks destroyed at London Corbin Airport. Working on getting permission to show that, but it looks like significant damage, and the medevac helicopter there looks completely destroyed. It's some of the most significant damage I've seen tonight, for sure.
And unfortunately, that was our concern, because hopefully if you were watching and we were tracking that, we specifically, as it was about to cross the interstate, we called out Sublimity City. I showed you exactly on the map where the London Corbin Airport was, and that rotation and that debris ball was heading right across there. So, and that was right around South Laurel High School as well. So that's concerning given the damage that Dylan's seeing on social media, and the fact that, you know, from the radar, all indications, we had the debris ball. We, of course, you know, had the signature, our gray shear marker spinning, indicating that the algorithm was picking up on the debris aloft. I just, you know, fearful tomorrow morning what the light of day will bring from Pulaski County, from South Somerset, all the way to London. And it, from what Dylan is telling us, is probably not going to be a very welcome sight at all. So still not out of the woods here in Leslie County. It's still a confirmed tornado warning until they call it and say, no, we're just a regular tornado warning. We've still got that going on. And you see the notch here on the reflectivity, the regular radar data, our shear marker again. That thing's been spot on all evening long, now into the early hours of this Saturday. The circulation, the velocity data, it's not as tight as it was as far as our shear. That's really lessened up as well, so that's a good sign. The fact that it's light green, meaning it's moderate and it's not red and strong like it was a little while ago, that's definitely a step in the right direction, and hopefully that'll be the case as this thing continues to work through the central part of Leslie County and then eventually over into Perry County as well. So I'm going to broaden things out here and just kind of give a bird's eye view. I know Dylan is still trying to effort some more information.
Just Somerset Fire Department's asking people to please stay out of the area of the damage of the tornado. This is not the time to come out and sightsee, and the extra traffic is causing rescue units problems.
Well, when Dylan showed the video there a little bit ago, you could see the number of first responders that were there on scene where the tornado did damage, and it was vast. And of course, you see here on Viper radar, there's still moderate to heavy rain in Pulaski County. And even though the heaviest rain is going to move along, I mean, this is usually how it works. We get these clusters or squall lines of storms that come through, and then once the leading edge exits, you got steady, moderate to heavy rain for a while. I mean, this extends all the way back to Campbellsville, so it's going to be a while before that rain comes to an end there in Somerset and Pulaski County. It's already tough enough for the first responders, being that it's a nighttime event and you got a lot of damage and you're having to deal with the rain. You don't need, obviously, the extra headaches of folks getting in the way. There'll be plenty of coverage and video and stuff on social media. You just need to give those folks a chance to clean things up. So still some strong activity, and keep in mind, all these are thunderstorms, and they have been. We've had the lightning data off because it gets in the way. Notice when I put it on, you can't really see a lot of the city. So the thunderstorms are continuing. I mean, even with the lead supercell here, let me get down here, get over to it. You still got a lot of lightning with it, but during our coverage here, we've just chosen to keep the lightning off so we can get a better track on everything going on. So we'll pop it back off, but any of these clusters here, hazard, you got heavy rain, a lot of lightning, still concerned with the main focus here, our supercell thunderstorm that is still going, hopefully not producing a tornado, but did clearly a lot of damage back on the south side of Somerset, and it looks like the south side of London as well. You know, it takes a little while for the info to trickle in, and then you run back toward the I-75 corridor along the Hal Rogers Parkway, Manchester. I think we've got up 421 up toward Burning Springs. You got Egypt there along the Jackson-Clay County line. I think we got some hail there. Anytime you see that bit of pink and purple in the reflectivity, more heavy rain in London. And as Dylan said, the London Corbin Airport there on the south side of town, Sublimity City, saw some damage online. You got heavy rain and thunderstorms. So again, that's just adding insult to injury here.
Yeah, and we have credit. We have permission to show this now on links too, if we had the chance. This is that damage at London Corbin Airport. That's that medevac helicopter there.
It's crushed.
Yeah, it is crushed.
It's crushed, and I mean, it literally looks like the rotors have been sheared off. I mean, clearly the thing must have rolled multiple times, because it almost looks like the back rotor's gone. The appendage in the back is completely gone. So yeah, just look
at all the debris. That's what the radar's picking up on. When we were showing that the blue dots on the radar, you see all that debris scattered about. Who knows where that's from? You know, that could have fallen out from the storm as it pushed through. That's what the radar picks up on when we're showing you the debris detector. It's picking up on, obviously those things are larger than the size of raindrops, so the radar is saying, hey, this is debris, and that's a potential example of it.
Yeah, and it gave us an indication that tornado was on the ground, and in many times in situations like this, you get a strong confirmed tornado and we even mentioned it by the time it got into eastern Pulaski County. It's like, this thing is large and it is life-threatening as it moved into the southern part of London and across Laurel County, and that damage confirms it. But many times you get these strong tornadoes like that, and it'll pick up debris, and you'll find letters 100 miles to the east that have been lofted into the tornado easily, and then they just flutter down once the storm goes away. Hopefully it's not to that strength, but at this point, what we've seen via video and pictures on social media, I got a sneaky suspicion, again, this is going to be one of the stronger tornadoes that we have seen here in this part of the state, especially central and eastern Kentucky, in a number of years. Of course, you go back to the Mayfield tornado, that one, just really, really devastating, just based on that damage. Doesn't look to be, obviously, to that extent, and keeping our fingers crossed that injuries are at minimal and we're not dealing with anything in the way of fatalities, but hopefully we were able to get the word out, because obviously we were on it early and stayed with it.
And again, we don't have confirmed reports officially, but it sounds like there have been, where this is at, this is this is the Lutheran Church at their south and east of Somerset along Kentucky 27 at Light
US
22.
27.
Yeah, US 27, sorry. The other potential places with damage, Baxter's Coffee, Hardee's, Speedway, the movie theater, all places that could have some damage. Not official, but seeing some reports of that.
Yeah, well, when you first showed the video, I immediately was like, that looks like a church, and the whole side of it is gone. And tonight it's one of those nights that this is the reason that we cut in. This is the reason that we stay on with every tornado warning that we have for its entirety, because initially that tornado warning that was issued in Pulaski County was radar indicated only, and the next thing we knew, it was right about 11 o'clock, I believe, near news time, boom, there it was, the purple blinking box, and that meant a confirmed tornado. And then unfortunately it did the damage there in Somerset and clearly over toward London, and it will be interesting to see whether we end up with anything there across parts of Clay County and over into Leslie County. So we still have the warnings ongoing for about another 7-8 minutes here, at least the tornado warnings. I'm actually going to just take the radar data off completely just to kind of show you just the polygons. So it looks like across eastern Pulaski, Laurel, Clay, Leslie, and Perry, the purple blinking boxes. Those are all still confirmed tornado warnings, which I believe expire at 1 a.m., which is in a little over 5 minutes. Still severe thunderstorm warning for the cluster here that's coming up on Williamsburg, and it's moving through McCreary County. Obviously, they've got a severe thunderstorm warning farther east toward Hyman, Knott County for that lead supercell. And then north of it, you've got flash flood warnings for this entire area, because that part of the state had a good 1 to 3 inches of rain the way everything was lined up early Friday morning. And as a result, that's creating some flash flooding issues, because you see all the heavy rain that continues. Now, when we hit the top of the hour here, we'll see what Jackson's going to do relative to the tornado warnings. If we get to the top of the hour and we don't have any more tornado warnings,
the Alex Ross from National Weather Service Jackson, who has been the only person posting from National Weather Service in Jackson all evening, he says with tornadic signatures minimizing, going to convert to severe with tornado possible.
Okay, so at this point, we got about another 5 minutes. I believe at 1 o'clock, all the tornado warnings will expire. And if that's the case, then obviously we're going to send you back to programming while we regroup, try to get some information, and obviously continue to track.
Tornado warnings will be allowed to expire at the top of the hour.
Yeah, we'll obviously continue to track these storms until they're out of the area. But more than anything, effort, information, obviously damage reports, and of course we'll obviously have much more relative to what's happened across Somerset and London as we head into the weekend, and of course next week, because clearly this is going to take a little while. And unfortunately, with the way staffing is with the Weather Service offices and that kind of thing, the surveys have been taking a bit longer than they typically have with some of the changes.
Do you see that
of late?
The new scan, it looks a little bit more potentially, with that shear there.
Of course it does.
Yeah, we're seeing.
That would stand to reason. All right, take me full if you can, or him. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Viper area, Cornettsville. It doesn't look as impressive, that latest scan, but
let's see.
Maybe Morristown might have a better. No, it doesn't. Morristown does have a better look at the shear south of it. Not incredible, but you can at least see
I'm
some.
Trying.
No, that's no worries.
Yeah, there you go. So this is looking at Morristown, Tennessee, which is east of Knoxville. It gives us a better look at some of our southeastern counties. And of course, the tornado warning that goes until 1 a.m. We got about another 3 minutes here. There's Viper again. This thing's getting into Perry County now.
Yeah.
Cornettsville, Hazards, obviously up here at the top, so it's well south of you. I can't get that tornado warning thing off of there. It's the only thing that is a little bit problematic, is there's no, when you're zoomed in so close, you can't get rid of it, but you get the idea. There you go. So there's still some rotation. At this point, Jackson is planning on just extending the severe thunderstorm warning over into Knott County, Carr Creek, Hindman, that area, and obviously given that there has been rotation and this thing's had a history of producing tornadoes, hopefully it's finally beginning to lose its punch after literally holding together for several hours. But again, as we hit the top of the hour here, if all the tornado warnings go away, like I said, we will send you to network programming, kind of regroup, get our bearings, continue to track these storms, and of course, obviously, we will we'll pop back in if need be, because we still have a little bit of the area that has not been worked over. Example A, Williamsburg here, you've got some strong winds that are going to be heading your direction. Corbin, you've got heavy rain. Remember, I'll put the lightning data on. Let me change back to Jackson here and kick the radar there. There we go. That gives you a better look. I mean, this thing's a prolific lightning maker between London and Manchester. Look at all the lightning strikes. So, I mean, it is constant. And again, adding insult to injury here, because that area just south of London, where clearly we've had some tornado damage, and then you go over toward Hazard, you've got heavy rain and just, constant lightning here. And that's the case farther east over toward Hydeman in Knott County and points to the north. The lightning lessens up towards Prestonsburg, and then we're just back into some general rain. In fact, it's raining again here at the ABC 36 studio, even though most of it has moved on. Stanford, you got heavy rain, but we'll watch, especially Williamsburg. You've got the potential of seeing some damaging wind gusts. Barberville as well. You've kind of escaped this unscathed. Pineville, Middlesboro. Again, just because the tornado warnings go away doesn't mean the overall severe weather threat has yet. I think more than anything, the concern here along the Howell Rogers Parkway going forward is going to be the flooding potential as well. Because this area, again, has received earlier today, like Owsley County, a little bit farther north, the Mesonet side, it had 3 inches of rain, and that was before any of this fell this evening. And you see what's coming down out there right now, up toward Boonville. The worst of it is Manchester and over toward London. Again, these areas that have seen the worst of the weather continue to get dumped on with heavy rain and a lot of lightning. And that's, of course, the lightning can cause issues with some lightning strikes and fires and the like and that kind of thing. So hopefully we'll avoid that. But we've still got a little sliver of southeastern Kentucky to go here. But we have reached 1 o'clock, the top of the hour. So let me pop this off and see where we are. And as you can see, all of the tornado warnings have now been allowed to expire. So we got severe thunderstorm warnings for Perry into Knott County, and severe thunderstorm warnings from Clay County into western Perry in the northern part of Leslie County, and then a large chunk of eastern Kentucky under flash flood warning. So we will be here for a while, again, as we continue to track what we've got left in southern Kentucky until it's out of the viewing area and the threat has ended. Again, watch out for the flash flooding potential in this area. And of course, we'll continue to effort information. We'll post stuff online. And of course, we'll have crews, I'm sure, heading that way tomorrow to get firsthand look at the damage. And of course, the Weather Service, they'll be doing a site survey, which will probably take a bit of time between what we've seen with the damage in Somerset, obviously stretching all the way over to the south side of London and possibly beyond, as it takes a little while to accomplish that, and we'll see what other damage is out there. But we're 3 hours in now, 1 a.m. Saturday morning here on the 17th of May. So we're going to wrap the coverage up for now. Thanks to the guys in the booth for helping us out, Al and the crew. For meteorologist Dylan Goday, I'm Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck. Stay safe, have a good morning, and we will talk to you soon.